But I think more than anything, my favorite part of Super Lap Battle is the people. And I don't just mean the competitors, I don't just mean the staff, I don't just mean the fans. I mean as a whole, the people. Because people that are here and stay here, they do it because they love it. And without them, we couldn't do it.
What's up guys, my name is Nate Hamilton and I'm a drifting athlete. I've been in motorsports from a grassroots perspective for over 10 years now. Yeah, so it's my first time for Grid Life and Super Lap Battle as far as a spectator, being in the drifting paddock. But I hear a lot of rad cars zooming by and I'm enjoying myself a lot, from the facility to all the crowd that came out today. It's literally been overwhelming. And as far as kind of getting into the 2021 season, it's a really good start. As a drifter, it's super.
Hello everyone, Jackie Ding here. I'm here racing the PhD Racing AMS Performance number 86 Toyota Supra 890 here at the beautiful Circuit of the Americas with Super Lap Battle. This is actually our third year at Super Lap Battle COTA. It's always a wonderful event. Super Lap is special because it's kind of like the culmination of time attack here in the US. This is the big one. This is the one everybody wants to win. This is the one where the prizes are the highest and the stakes are the highest, and people from around the country, from California, from us, from Chicago, from New York, from Florida, everybody gathers around here at this one track where they race F1 here and everything to try and find out who's the fastest. And, it's amazing, isn't it?
My name is Chris Forsberg. I'm a three-time Formula Drift champion, and we're out here performing our very first race as Forsberg Racing in the GLTC Cup. You know, it's really cool to be able to say that we fielded a race car here as well. And with that, we have Brian Highcotter as a new addition to the team for this year, and he will be actually piloting this car, not myself, as he has been a factory-back Nissan driver and is very, very intelligent with the car setup and having a very consistent lap time, very good feedback on how the car is performing, and also just an absolute machine behind the wheel.
Yeah, this is a very familiar series to me. A lot of good friends in various stages of racing, both time attack and wheel to wheel, and it's just fun to be out here in this environment because it really brings both crowds together, time attack, wheel to wheel. We've got other crowds out here too, drifting, car shows, those type of things, and it just caters to everybody. It's a great show for spectators to hang out, learn about some cars, meet drivers. That's what brought me into it, and now I'm here racing myself, so I love it. Yeah, my name is Joel Morrison. I'm the driver of the Nine Lines Racing S2000. Been in motorsports for a little over 10 years, done various things from autocross to time attack. Recently moved to wheel in the GLTC series here with Grid Life and Super Lap Battle. We're out here just having a great time, and we're fairly new in this series, but we've made up some good time and good positions. We've got one more race to go this afternoon. Real excited, car's working great, nice and fast, so we're looking to make up some good positions and just have a great weekend. We're having a blast.
But I think more than anything, my favorite part of Super Lap Battle is the people. And I don't just mean the competitors, I don't just mean the staff, I don't just mean the fans. I mean as a whole, the people. Because people that are here and stay here, they do it because they love it. And without them, we couldn't do it.
What's up guys, my name is Nate Hamilton and I'm a drifting athlete. I've been in motorsports from a grassroots perspective for over 10 years now. Yeah, so it's my first time for Grid Life and Super Lap Battle as far as a spectator, being in the drifting paddock. But I hear a lot of rad cars zooming by and I'm enjoying myself a lot, from the facility to all the crowd that came out today. It's literally been overwhelming. And as far as kind of getting into the 2021 season, it's a really good start. As a drifter, it's super cool because you have Super Lap Battle, you have Grid Life's Time Attack, and that brings a different crowd. And I think that chemistry makes for a lot of really cool moments. And like when I'm giving ride-alongs here with Lone Star Drift, I'm basically able to take some people that maybe haven't experienced drifting ever before. And for me, it's super important, and obviously to see their smiles, like it means a lot.
Hey everyone, it's Larry Chen here. I am a car culture photographer. We're at Super Lap Battle, and I've been shooting for 16 years. Can you believe that? That's a long time. All kidding aside, legitimately, this is the greatest time attack event in North America, so I definitely had to come out here. The cars, the culture, everything. It's just amazing to see everyone gathered for this reason. COTA is interesting in that it's like designed as like the perfect track. It really is.
The first time we walked in here in 2019 and I opened up a garage and I saw what an F1 grade garage looked like, I had no words.
So we came out to COTA from Tennessee. It's a long drive for us, about 15 hours. Brought my good friend with me. He's never been out here. We watch Formula One, we watch NASCAR, we love watching series. And you know, this is the best track you can go on in the US, arguably in North America. And so one of those bucket list tracks for many folks that have never been on it. We've had the opportunity to do so, and given the opportunity again, we're like, let's go do it. Let's make that drive. Let's go race on that track. It's a lot of fun. There's so much to learn here. Big open course, lots of fast sweepers, fast straightaways. There's something for everyone. And a lot of cars just out here, different builds. Everybody's capitalizing on different areas. Our car right now, you know, doesn't have a lot of horsepower, but we're really capitalizing on the turns and just handles really well. And so using that momentum to get through the straightaways and then back into the S's. Yeah, it's just, you know, this facility's beautiful. I would say if anybody ever has the opportunity to do so, get out here. It's just, you can't beat it.
Pit lane, without a doubt, is probably the most beautiful area to shoot, I think, for pretty much any track in North America. It's just modern and it's right. It just feels right to be here.
COTA is a very special challenge, I think, because it has such a variety. You know, Sector 1 is high downforce. You need all the stability you can get through the S's. It's all about rhythm. Sector 2, long straights, heavy braking zone. The car needs to be able to be good in a straight line. Sector 3, technical, traction zones, tight turns, hairpins. It's a combination of everything.
Super Lap Battle is doing a great job, and to take us to a facility such as Circuit of the Americas is amazing. You know, I've never actually been here, so it's awesome to be able to experience this track, and for Super Lap Battle to be able to come out here and get ourselves and all these other drivers out on this prestigious track is really amazing.
Thank you so much to Super Lap Battle as well as COTA for all the access and just to allow us to come here to gather content, create art, and also tell the story of these cars and drivers.
I think with the multiple forms of discipline in motorsports here at COTA, they're getting a really good turnout and really good results, so glad to be a part of it.
Hello everyone, Jackie Ding here. I'm here racing the PhD Racing AMS Performance number 86 Toyota Supra 890 here at the beautiful Circuit of the Americas with Super Lap Battle. This is actually our third year at Super Lap Battle COTA. It's always a wonderful event. Super Lap is special because it's kind of like the culmination of time attack here in the US. This is the big one. This is the one everybody wants to win. This is the one where the prizes are the highest and the stakes are the highest, and people from around the country, from California, from us, from Chicago, from New York, from Florida, everybody gathers around here at this one track where they race F1 here and everything to try and find out who's the fastest. And, it's amazing, isn't it?
My name is Chris Forsberg. I'm a three-time Formula Drift champion, and we're out here performing our very first race as Forsberg Racing in the GLTC Cup. You know, it's really cool to be able to say that we fielded a race car here as well. And with that, we have Brian Highcotter as a new addition to the team for this year, and he will be actually piloting this car, not myself, as he has been a factory-back Nissan driver and is very, very intelligent with the car setup and having a very consistent lap time, very good feedback on how the car is performing, and also just an absolute machine behind the wheel.
Yeah, this is a very familiar series to me. A lot of good friends in various stages of racing, both time attack and wheel to wheel, and it's just fun to be out here in this environment because it really brings both crowds together, time attack, wheel to wheel. We've got other crowds out here too, drifting, car shows, those type of things, and it just caters to everybody. It's a great show for spectators to hang out, learn about some cars, meet drivers. That's what brought me into it, and now I'm here racing myself, so I love it. Yeah, my name is Joel Morrison. I'm the driver of the Nine Lines Racing S2000. Been in motorsports for a little over 10 years, done various things from autocross to time attack. Recently moved to wheel in the GLTC series here with Grid Life and Super Lap Battle. We're out here just having a great time, and we're fairly new in this series, but we've made up some good time and good positions. We've got one more race to go this afternoon. Real excited, car's working great, nice and fast, so we're looking to make up some good positions and just have a great weekend. We're having a blast.
But I think more than anything, my favorite part of Super Lap Battle is the people. And I don't just mean the competitors, I don't just mean the staff, I don't just mean the fans. I mean as a whole, the people. Because people that are here and stay here, they do it because they love it. And without them, we couldn't do it.
What's up guys, my name is Nate Hamilton and I'm a drifting athlete. I've been in motorsports from a grassroots perspective for over 10 years now. Yeah, so it's my first time for Grid Life and Super Lap Battle as far as a spectator, being in the drifting paddock. But I hear a lot of rad cars zooming by and I'm enjoying myself a lot, from the facility to all the crowd that came out today. It's literally been overwhelming. And as far as kind of getting into the 2021 season, it's a really good start. As a drifter, it's super cool because you have Super Lap Battle, you have Grid Life's Time Attack, and that brings a different crowd. And I think that chemistry makes for a lot of really cool moments. And like when I'm giving ride-alongs here with Lone Star Drift, I'm basically able to take some people that maybe haven't experienced drifting ever before. And for me, it's super important, and obviously to see their smiles, like it means a lot.
Hey everyone, Larry Chen here. I am a car culture photographer. We're at Super Lap Battle, and I've been shooting for 16 years. Can you believe that? That's a long time. All kidding aside, legitimately, this is the greatest time attack event in North America, so I definitely had to come out here. The cars, the culture, everything. It's just amazing to see everyone gathered for this reason. COTA is interesting in that it's like designed as like the perfect track. It really is.
The first time we walked in here in 2019, I opened up a garage and I saw what an F1 grade garage looked like. I had no words.
So we came out to COTA from Tennessee. It's a long drive for us, about 15 hours. Brought my good friend with me. He's never been out here. We watch Formula One, we watch NASCAR, we love watching series. And you know, this is the best track you can go on in the US, arguably in North America. And so one of those bucket list tracks for many folks that have never been on it. We've had the opportunity to do so, and given the opportunity again, we're like, let's go do it. Let's make that drive. Let's go race on that track. It's a lot of fun. There's so much to learn here. Big open course, lots of fast sweepers, fast straightaways. There's something for everyone. And a lot of cars just out here, different builds. Everybody's capitalizing on different areas. Our car right now, you know, doesn't have a lot of horsepower, but we're really capitalizing on the turns and just handles really well. And so using that momentum to get through the straightaways and then back into the S's. Yeah, it's just, you know, this facility's beautiful. I would say if anybody ever has the opportunity to do so, get out here. It's just, you can't beat it.
Pit lane, without a doubt, is probably the most beautiful area to shoot, I think, for pretty much any track in North America. It's just modern and it's right. It just feels right to be here.
COTA is a very special challenge, I think, because it has such a variety. You know, Sector 1 is high downforce. You need all the stability you can get through the S's. It's all about rhythm. Sector 2, long straights, heavy braking zone. The car needs to be able to be good in a straight line. Sector 3, technical, traction zones, tight turns, hairpins. It's a combination of everything.
Super Lap Battle is doing a great job, and to take us to a facility such as Circuit of the Americas is amazing. You know, I've never actually been here, so it's awesome to be able to experience this track, and for Super Lap Battle to be able to come out here and get ourselves and all these other drivers out on this prestigious track is really amazing.
Thank you so much to Super Lap Battle as well as COTA for all the access and just to allow us to come here to gather content, create art, and also tell the story of these cars and drivers.
I think with the multiple forms of discipline in motorsports here at COTA, they're getting a really good turnout and really good results, so glad to be a part of it.
Hello everyone, Jackie Ding here. I'm here racing the PhD Racing AMS Performance number 86 Toyota Supra 890 here at the beautiful Circuit of the Americas with Super Lap Battle. This is actually our
Jeremy 228.4, that might be track record.
The annual return of Super Lap Battle to Austin, Texas marks the return of Grid Life Touring Cup racing for a new season. For the last 3 years, Circuit of the Americas has been the first round for GLTC, and with double the car count and a mix of veterans and rookies, this weekend is a fresh challenge for the Grid Life field. Hi everybody, and welcome to the Super Lap Battle at Circuit of the Americas live stream. I'm Kyle Heyer, joined by Alex Moss. For the Grid Life portion of the stream, again, 2 full days of action for Super Lap Battle and 4 races for Grid Life Touring Cup on tap for this weekend. Glad to be with you. Alex, welcome aboard. Last time you were in the booth, it was at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. You got to watch some of the best racing GLTC's ever put on. Now we're going to try to put that on at Circuit of the Americas.
That's right. Happy to be back. Thanks for having me here.
So practice is underway now for Grid Life Touring Cup. We'll have practice, qualifying, and 4 races throughout the weekend. This field this year, 32 cars, up from 17 last year, and 15 new rookies. So the field is a mix of champions, veterans, and new drivers. But so far, everyone just out on track getting used to the new pavement. You can see there the dark color between turns 2 and turn 8 and turn 12 and turn 15, all brand new pavement, and a bunch of rule changes coming into this season here, Alex. No more slick racing tires. We're all on 200 treadwear street tires this year.
That's right. I think in order to try and even the field and potentially to keep everybody's tire budgets a little bit more in order, we've gotten to the 200 treadwear tires. So no more differences between street tires and race tires now. Everybody's on street tires and everybody's trying to make those tires work.
So a mix of cars in this field. Grid Life Touring Cup began about 3 years ago in 2019. We've seen a variety of cars enter the field. This is a power-to-weight class with everyone shooting for about 12.5 pounds per horsepower. Front-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive. We see the gamut here in GLTC. And this weekend, 7 Corvettes amongst the field of S2000s, Miatas, Honda Civics, Nissan 370Zs. James Houghton returns in his 2007 Acura RSX that has a 75% win percentage from its one weekend it ran back here 2 years ago. The field is very diverse, Alex, and I think we're going to see a really interesting weekend with those 7 Corvettes, the majority of them from the G-Speed camp, going to war here this weekend.
That's right, yeah. So we had, obviously Jeremy Swenson was last year's season champion in a Corvette, so he's probably set the trend there for Corvettes being competitive and started to figure out the formula for that car for competitiveness. So yeah, we're seeing a lot of additional Corvettes coming in now.
And James Houghton goes straight to the top of the board in one of his first laps here in practice. He will shoot to a 2:27.366. That is a new track record for Grid Life Touring Cup here at COTA on those 200 treadwear street tires. There is a list of allowed tires. The Falcon RT660 is kind of the main tire everyone's shooting for, but Houghton's running with K-tuned. The last weekend he ran in this car in Grid Life Touring Cup was back in 2020, right here at COTA. Won 3 of 4 races. He'll be tough to beat here this weekend. Had a look at Colton Wade there. Colton's in the number 18 for Fields Auto Works. Glad to have him back this season. And really everyone just getting their feet wet, learning the racetrack. This is a new place for a lot of the field as well.
Yeah, many drivers have never driven before this weekend on this track. I know at least one of the ASM drivers has not turned a single lap, whether real or virtual, on this track. So just trying to figure it out in these practice sessions before everything starts to count later in the day.
There's a good look at Clayton Fitzpatrick in the number 71, a late entry here out of Marengo, Ohio, in a 1999 Chevy Corvette. That car is bright green, brand new wrap. He'll pull over to the right side and let Brian Heitkotter go through. Heitkotter for Forsberg Racing has 2 wins in his GLTC career, both coming at Pikes Peak International Raceway back in 2021. Here's another one of the new Corvettes that's joining us this season out of the G-Speed camp. This is Jackson Jensen, youngster, son of Eric, who won at Heartland last season. So it's a father-son duo. Jackson is in the C6 Corvette, and Eric is in a LS-swapped Scion FRS. Really cool to have this group come. They're actually Texas natives. They have a lot of road trips coming up this season because our schedule goes all over the country.
Yep, so we'll see GLTC go everywhere from Texas to the East Coast to our home in the Midwest, where we have kind of grown out of with Grid Life here. So wonderful to see father-son combinations and shows that Grid Life really is a family here.
Absolutely, and on the top 5 so far, it's James Houghton with that 2:27.366, Jeremy Swenson a 2:28.159, Tom O'Gorman with a 2:29.179. Tomo, again, last year 4th in points. Had a wild season, to say the least. He started off kind of running on his own and ended up pairing up with Andy Smedegard Motorsports. Got that car K-swapped. It won a whole bunch of races, had some reliability issues as well. Culminated in a championship run, but prior to the season finale, that car crashed in testing. Borrowed Zach Lavoie's car, made a good run at it, Alex, but Thomas had a heck of a season, but he's using kind of a borrowed car here this weekend, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, so the car he's driving in is a new ASM build. We call them the trainer cars, or Andy calls them the trainer cars. So he's had Trainer 1 that Ronnie Solomon tends to drive. He's got the blue Trainer 2 now, and now Trainer 3 is what Tom's driving. And just 2 weeks ago, that car was nothing but a shell. And that car's been built up over just the last 2 weeks into one of the top running cars so far.
Another car we had a quick look at was Paul Curley, who just entered this morning in the number 45. That is another Viking Performance and G-Speed car out of Ohio. A 2002 Chevrolet Corvette. Checkered flag falls on the session. Curley 5th in practice, though. Really good pace for the Corvettes and just for the kind of the bullet-shaped cars in general. Houghton to the top of the board in that K-swap Acura TSX. Jeremy Swenson, the reigning champion, running about a half a second off pace. And then looks like in practice we had, out of the 32 entries, 26 drivers take time. So that's good. We'd like to see everybody get times. There's a really interesting car, though. That's a 2020 Ford Mustang that is being driven by Charles-André Bilodeau, who's out of Foster, Quebec, Canada. So a really long road trip for him to get here in that Mustang, but glad to have him here this weekend for sure.
Yeah, unusual to see such a new car out there, but great to see it.
Yeah, that's the newest car in the field. The oldest is 1995 Mazda Miata. So we spanned a couple decades in the cars entered in this series, which is a lot of fun. Spanning horsepower ranges from 150 all the way up to the mid 200s. Weights from the low 2000s all the way to 3500. So a vast variety of cars. Dog box transmissions, PDKs. We have a Cayman S here this weekend. Micaiah Hackbarth with ASM, and standard H pattern transmissions. This is probably the most diverse racing series you're going to get that runs as a single class on track.
Yep, and Grid Life really pushes parity. So we have the power to weight, obviously, that everybody's at the same power to weight level, or everybody that's optimized for the class is at the same power to weight level. And then there's adjustments for those factors, like the PDK or the dog box or the aero or the tires and those kinds of things.
So with practice complete, next up for Grid Life Touring Cup will be qualifying in a couple of hours. We'll see you again on the other side. And race 1 will finish off, I think that's running about 2:40 later this afternoon, Central Time. But up next is going to be Super Lap Battle, the first sessions of the weekend, Alex. And you're actually going to be out there in an ASM S2000 as well.
Yep, yeah, I'll be out in the green S2000 we call Super K. I think my first group is up at about 9 a.m.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. Practice here for Grid Life Touring Cup. Super Lap Battle up next. We'll see you later.
Good morning. We're live from Circuit of the Americas. This is Super Lap Battle 2022. This is our first out session of group number 4. So we have most group number 4s out there on track. Looks like they're warming up, getting those tires hot.
Looks like Nicholas Bright is already trying to warm them tires up there.
What amazing views we have. It's just unbelievable, but first kind of out session. Everyone's getting everything warmed up and get a bank lap in, get a baseline. Yesterday, a lot of fast times went down, but some people showed up a little bit late to the party, but everyone's here today. Ferris ended up making one of our really fast cars. Ferris made it in this morning, got to tech. Saw him at the driver's meeting this morning. Wow, look at the track. The track surface just looks beautiful. This drone shot is amazing.
So yesterday, the guys, the teams, the drivers all got to come out, practice on the racetrack. This year we got 74 signed up drivers, which is a huge increase from the previous years.
Big field.
Looks like the excitement's happening, and today all the laps count. So soon enough, we're going to start to see these guys go on their flyers and try to put down fast laps.
Because basically the guys are right now, at least the teams, they're trying to get a baseline for tomorrow, because tomorrow is where, you know, the second round of sessions are going to go down. But that's where you want to get your fastest time. But they want to get out there early and to figure out the track surface, because a lot of these guys, it was a little bit colder yesterday through the day, but we have, you know, nice sunlight on the racetrack, so we're going to get some good temperature. It's going to warm up a little bit, so we're going to heat up those Yokohama tires, and
track surface is going to warm up, and a lot of things are going to change. A lot of times are going to drop throughout the day. This is Group 4, so these are a lot of the newer drivers, a lot of the cars that don't make a lot of power.
Enthusiast guys, the street guys. Oh, beautiful MR2. God, that car is gorgeous if you've ever seen it up close.
Daniel Oliver, he came out with the PhD racing crew. He's got some splitter activity going down that front straight into turn 1.
Drama. Massive splitter vibration there.
Making a ton of downforce right there in that MR2. Not too often do we see a SW20 out there competing in time attack. So it's amazing to see a 30-year-old car out here doing its thing.
They better get on that. He's going to have a massive vibration. Can't imagine what that's like in the driver's seat. I know I've had that happen. Yeah, he's slowing down, looks like.
Well, just in case you guys don't know, it's Kevin Courtney to the left of me. I'm Kit Lee. The two of us are actually time attack drivers, competitors, teams. We've been doing this for a good amount of time.
There we are. There we are. We can see.
Yeah. So this is Kevin, Kit. We campaigned several cars back in the early 2010s, 2009, all the way to like 2015. We love the sport. We love time attack, and this year we had the opportunity to sit in this hot seat. Unfortunately, Cuban's not able to make it this year. So we're covering his activities. Yep.
So yeah, we're here. We've been here since the beginning, but we've been more behind the scenes, and now we're more or less behind the or in front of the camera now, which is a little odd for us, but we love the sport and we love race cars and all that stuff, and we're here just watching what's going down on track and going over it with you guys. But yeah, we're just watching the action, and we couldn't wait to.
So when we got out here today this morning, it was under 30 degrees, and right now it's currently 34 degrees outside. The weather's starting to warm up. Fortunately, the skies are clear, unlike a couple weeks ago where I think they had a little bit of snow and ice.
Yeah, there was some snow on the ground, I heard.
Weather should be amazing. Here comes Robert from Mexico, all the way from Mexico. Robert's a Time Attack fan. He loves the sport. He's made a ton of progression with his car.
Oh, he's deep.
He had some help from the guys up north. James, Unit 2 Fabs really helped him with the development of the car. So it's amazing to see Robert be able to cross the border and compete here at COTA with us. That's a good looking Miata.
Check out the fenders on this Miata. These huge over fenders. That's amazing.
You know, we got a ton of new drivers and competitors this year, and we're still trying to learn the cars. We're still trying to learn the names, and obviously, like, we're typically not in this hot seat. You know, Cuban does an amazing job in this hot seat. He's pretty familiar with a lot of the drivers, and we're the new guys here, trying to bring all this information to you guys. Oh, look, twin Supras out there.
We got a double super battle right here,
which is pretty cool. The A90 chassis is just ridiculously fast from the factory. We see a lot of teams starting to build them, bring them out to compete, and extremely competitive cars. I think the engineering that Toyota has done in combination with the BMW engine package, drivetrain is just next level.
Yeah, you just got an amazing bang for buck. And even if you want to take that chassis and come out and run with us, like, you get a lot of bang for the buck as far as a great track car, great sports car. And these just have great power, great chassis, great brakes, everything like that. We're starting to see a lot more Supras, I think. You know, it first came out, you had that big lull, or we had that big, you know, jump. Everyone went out and when they first came out and got a Supra, but now it kind of seems to die down a little bit, and now we're kind of leveling out. But you still see a good amount of Supras too.
I believe that's Brandon Pagan in the Subaru STI, white with black contrast. He's just come down turn 2. Here he is. Car looks really good.
Came out through the corner. And those apexes, nice. Not too far into the apex. If you see those orange spots, those are almost like drivers call them castles or sausages. And if you hit those, that's going to be a bad day.
Yeah.
It looks looks like Mr. Turner with a 234, top of the session so far.
And that's Bob Boileau in the Mazda Miata MX-5. Buelo. Sorry if we pronounced your names wrong.
We're still going through them first time.
Yeah. And you feel free to correct us if we're wrong. Shout out to the Buelo family and Pikes Peak International Raceway. They've been a tremendous help for us, actually. We were out there in Pikes Peak past June, and Pikes Peak International Raceway offered us the facility to test the car, work on the car, shake down the car, and do all that. So shout out to Pikes Peak International Raceway. We appreciate you guys a ton.
So it looks like the top of the leader sheet, or the time sheets right now for Group 4.
And that's Brandon Luthi in the Volkswagen. Brandon's actually got a pretty cool story. He drives across the country to compete with Global Time Attack. He loves the sport. I think he's a good representation of enthusiasts that have this passion where they slowly piece by piece develop the car, run at almost any circuit he can get to, and tries to utilize the car he built and enjoy it across the country.
And these cars are pretty much most of these cars that are in this run group. They're very, very stock-esque. You know, very very tuner. This is what our core, I want to say, time attack is the guys that really enjoy going to the track, the HPD guys that want to take it to that next level.
These are the guys that basically, you know, they don't have a tremendous budget, but they love the sport enough to be a part of it, and this shows that it's attainable by pretty much anyone. And one of the reasons why we do an event like Super Lap Battle to project and display the sport to, you know, the average car enthusiast, is to let you guys know that you guys can do this. You guys can build a car. It doesn't have to be crazy, within your means, and then come out here and actually enjoy it with us.
Looks like Mr. Drew Turner coming through turn 1. He's actually top of the time sheets at a 2:28. Looks like he cut off 2 seconds, almost 2 seconds. But it looks like he's kind of cooling down, and looks like he's going to come in, but he's off pace, looks like. Mr. Pagan out there, kind of leading the pack right there. Looks like he's off pace a little bit.
Typically, as it gets later in the session, the cars will get slower, and that's all due to tires. Tires start to get too hot and they don't perform as well. Typically, when time attack cars are built to the limits of the potential, they usually achieve that fast lap in that first flyer lap. Some of the high caliber cars that, you know, make a ton of power, make a ton of grip and a ton of downforce, if you can't get that good lap in on that first lap, odds are you're not going to get that good lap in that session. If you know anything about drag racing, it's kind of the same thing.
Very similar to drag racing.
The tires get up to a specific temperature and they operate really well at that temperature, and once it surpasses that temperature, it kind of just falls off. So as we get into the lower groups, the faster groups, you'll start to notice that they'll go out and they'll do a warm-up lap, maybe 2 warm-up laps if needed, and then they're going to go on their hot lap, and that hot lap they're going to go ridiculously fast, and then they're going to pull in after they cool the car down. And that's basically time attack. That's their chance to go fast, and it's a combination of, you know, getting the tires right, getting the aero package to work right, getting the engine and mechanics to work right, and then obviously the guy behind the wheel or the girl behind the wheel machining the car to its limits.
There goes Mr. Austin Sierra in that gorgeous STI. Huge wide body. Well, not wide body, but wide fenders, but looks like everyone's off pace here. Maybe getting a cool down lap in. Let's see how much time they have left, but it looks like
Group 3 is gritting up.
Group 3 is on grid. All those guys are getting those cars idling up, and if you see that Hawkeye Subaru right there in front, that's an old Super Taikyu car. And if you're not familiar with Super Taikyu in Japan, those cars are very horsepower-wise. They're very showroom stock, very minimal horsepower on those things out of his showroom. So they race a wheel-to-wheel. And that particular car, we actually got here late yesterday, and they were having a little bit of engine trouble. They were kind of overheating the car, so luckily it's nice and cold out here in Texas. Maybe 30, 40 degrees out there right now, 45 degrees Fahrenheit, but hopefully those guys stay cold and get a good hot lap in. But there's another FK8 coming through.
I believe that's Jeffrey Ting.
Mr. Boosler?
Actually, that's Boosler. That's Stefan Boosler.
Stefan Boosler. Let's see what time he is. He's at a 142 right now. I'd imagine most of these guys are just getting a feel for the track, the temperatures out there, and how fast they can really push it. But most of these guys aren't going to push it till tomorrow. But a lot of these guys are just getting that banker in, see what's what, maybe save a little bit for the afternoon, let it warm up a little bit. But yeah, they're out there just getting the banker in.
collecting data, seeing where they can improve and go faster in the following sessions.
Looks like it's Mr. Drew Turner still at the top of the time sheets, and he's at 228. Next on this, Mr. Formosa at a 234. Good 6 seconds, 6.2 behind. So still top, everyone's still kind of getting their speed up there, but I'd imagine we saw some really low times. Just as a reference, our top guy last year is the Life Motorsports GTR, and they did a 206. So that kind of gives you the speed index here with these enthusiast cars, these street cars, and it's amazing index. Now, as a speed index here, like a GT3, a GT3 car, Porsche, what have you, they'll do a 206, a 207. So our top guys are right there, and those are factory-built $1 million race cars. So Ferris, he just got in this morning. He's looking to with that Z06 really smash on a lot of people's hearts when it comes to times.
I think Ferris came here with one goal in mind this year is to break the 2-minute mark. I believe William Al Young from Canada is also here going to make an attempt in the Honda Civic to break that 2-minute mark, which is huge. Like that sub 2 minute is going to be setting a benchmark for time attack here at Circuit of the Americas.
Will A. Young, they brought the Civic out there, and we just had literally got in the airport, came straight to the track, and we talked to him, saw him in the paddock, and he said, and they had already clocked a 211 on a low boost map, 18 psi boost map, and that car, if you're not familiar with it, they have a 30 psi map in there, so they're really going to turn up the horsepower. Maybe not today. Maybe you guys got to tune in tomorrow, but they're going to go for that sub 2 minute as well. And those Canadian boys, a lot of drivers from Canada this morning or today. They came down for the event, and it's great to see. I mean, they're international drivers come down here. It's
amazing for us to go through 2 years of COVID, and finally the borders are open for them to travel across with their race cars. Last year they couldn't make it here due to the borders being closed. But this year, they're here, and they're here to set records, and that's what we want to see. That's what Time Attack's all about. We want to set the bar higher every year so that new competitors, old competitors, come back and try to reset those records, because that's what it's about. I think for Time Attack as a sport, these guys represent the sport really well. We need guys that are driven, dedicated to smash times that are just unbelievable. Here at COTA, like Kevin was saying, the GT3 cars are averaging about like 206s, but these cars are $1 million, and they'll consistently do 206s, right?
Yep.
But our Time Attack cars are really truly production cars. They have to have a VIN. They have to be bought basically off of a dealership lot at some sort or sometime in its life, and they have to remain like pretty much factory to an extent and to the limit of those rule sets. You can't basically buy a production race car and run Time Attack. That's really not what Time Attack is about. And as well as the classes, right? Like in the street tire class, there's specific restrictions. You're limited to like a 5-inch splitter in the front, no flat belly. Your wings limited to the chassis, like to the body of the car. In the limited class, now we allow flat bottoms. We allow sequential gearboxes, I believe. And then obviously in the unlimited class, which basically is like you could pretty much almost do anything minus having a full tube chassis. The enthusiast class is basically the bottom class. It's the entry level class to Time Attack. It's the class that you should get your foot wet in after like having experience running in HPDE, your local track days. Once you feel like you're quick, but you don't have the development to be competitive in the street class. Developing your car around the enthusiast class is the way to go. And it really is going to drive you to develop the car further, obviously, after you set times and records that are that are competitive in that class. So that first class, that first group that was running right now, Group 4, a lot of those cars are enthusiast class cars. I reckon there was 7 of them that were enthusiast class cars. These guys are basically everyday guys that probably work a 9-to-5 job, but they love import tuning, they love automotive tuning, and they love time attack. So they take their probably everyday daily driver and they work on it probably after hours at night or whatever, like how Kevin and I used to do it. And then they will tow their car across the country to other different states to compete at Global Time Attack, at Grid Life, at Super Lap Battle, and you know, eventually one of these days we're probably going to see these enthusiast class cars end up in the street class, and then these street class cars end up in the limited class, or the limited class, and then the limited class cars obviously in the unlimited class. Ultimately, that's what we want to see. We want to see these guys develop cars, go faster.
There's a little bit of drifting going on back there.
Lone Star Drift. Lone Star Drift is out here as well, doing some drifting with us.
They're doing rides all day long. So, if you guys, if you guys are here throughout the day, I mean, come on down. Tickets are $20 at the gate. I mean, you can't beat that kind of a deal. And you could get a ride in a drift car. I know it looks like they're warming up out there, but I know I'm going to try to get down there and get a ride in. If I'm not driving, I'm sitting passenger. So these guys are out there having a good old time, looks like.
So I saw this car on social media the last week or 2 weeks, and this car is pretty cool. It's still carbureted. It's not the typical drift car you see. As you can see, it's completely open body. There's no panels or anything on it.
Looks like Group 2's filling up. Everyone's on grid on time. Looks like they're lining up, ready to go out.
And ahead of the pack is Ryan Dussex in that Super Taiku Subaru. That car is a really good car, really cool car to look at. Ryan gave me a stack of stickers that he made.
It's a very iconic car too. If you love Japanese tuning out there and Japanese racing in particular, Super Taiku cars are really, in my opinion, really to the core of what Japanese tuning is. Very stiff chassis. The roll cage is very stiff, but just kind of not super amounts of horsepower, but it looks amazing. I hope those guys last through the weekend. And if you see the fourth car in line there, that's a Spoon Sports Civic, Civic Type R. See who's driving it right now. I know Dai Yoshihara was switching off with Aaron. They were kind of poking each other and see who could get the faster time, get a better feel for the car and for the track. But if you're not familiar with Spoon Sports, they're a big Honda tuner out of Japan. And this is these guys are actually our neighbors. Back in our shop in Orange, California, they're actually our neighbors. And it's great to see the neighborhood boys throwing down out there. But that's a beautiful Civic Type R.
At the end of the year last year, Spoon Sport USA Dai Yoshihara and the Spoon Sport team, they actually competed at the 25 Hours of Thunderhill and won the race.
Won that race.
So this is a very iconic car with a very iconic story. I think their plan is to tour that car around the U.S., show up to some Grid Life, probably Grid Life, I believe, Mid-Ohio, or the Grid Life Midwest Festival or some sort, and really display this car so that the fans can see it.
You're going to be seeing a lot more of that car.
Yeah, it's a beautiful car. It's a newer car. It's an FK8. So, that's a car that's extremely popular today because of how fast it is, and obviously because it's an R, right? Us as a shop over at Project Import, we work on a ton of them. A lot of customers love to mod those cars.
Yeah, the FK8s are super popular. The newer ones, the 1.5s, the Civic Type Rs, the 2-liter Accords. Just so many mods for those cars, and you can get those cars going really fast and also take them on the track, and they're great to drive. Great for them. But yeah, that's the trend actually. When you look at Will's car from Canada, a front-wheel drive Civic. I mean, that car holds the lap record at Buttonwillow right now, and right now it's a gradual trend. I know Ferris has come to take that, the top times back, but I mean, who would ever thought when we started out that a front-wheel drive would hold the lap record at Buttonwillow, at least for a time attack machine, is just unbelievable. And just the trend of aerodynamics have come in and played a big part on these race cars. And this is Group 3 out there right now, and this is kind of the one step up. I mean, we got some limited cars in there, so they have a little bit more tire, a little bit more aero in there, a little bit more development with these cars, but they can really go. You see the Spoon Sports car right there. Let's see who's behind the wheel right now. I know I saw Aaron at the driver's meeting and Di, but they weren't suited up. Hopefully they got, it looks like we got some hot laps going down.
There's Ryan coming down the front straight in a Super Titan car.
That car is right-hand drive too. Real Japanese car. Not a ton on the aero, but the trade-off with being not very heavy on the aero is you get a lot more down the straightaway. So you're more slippery down the straight. You don't have that aero drag on the straight. And that front straight, really, you can take advantage of it too. You can make up some time there. But especially in this part of the track, the S's right there, you really suffer with that understeer. Definitely the understeer is what's going to kill your time. But it's a big trade-off. Minimal downforce does a lot on the straightaway, but it really kills you under braking. I mean, you don't get that braking power. There's an Evo 9, I'm sorry. Evo 9. Front straight.
2 Evos.
That is 2 Evos. I think there's one Evo down there that has a huge Voltex kit on it. Looks absolutely gorgeous. If anyone's coming down, has tickets this weekend, please come down and just go through the paddock and get your eyes into everything.
Trying to see inside the car who's driving. I believe it's probably Aaron driving right now. And that Spoon Sport car, man, that's, like Kevin was saying earlier, 10 years ago, nobody would ever think a front-wheel drive car would set overall track records. But today, that's changed because of the aerodynamic game. I think the aerodynamic game evolved dramatically when Nemo, I know Time Attack guys, you guys all know what Nemo is. Nemo is a Mitsubishi Evo that competed in Australia that totally changed the aerodynamic game when it comes to Time Attack. And ever since then, we've just seen aerodynamics evolve dramatically all over the world. And now over in Australia.
Oh, wow, shoot flames out that sea. Did anyone see that? That was amazing.
And now over in Australia,
like
if you take a look at the aero over in Australia, it's just crazy. Hammerhead, RP968, Tilton, those guys are just killing it out there, and we'd love to see those guys here one day.
Oh, Thomas Smith on a flyer with the 223, fastest of the morning so far by big strides right here. Oh, looks like he's letting.
Looks like Thomas is happy with his lap time, so he's let off and let Ryan pass. If you don't know Thomas Smith has he's a veteran of being a Time Attack driver. We used to compete with Thomas Smith, about a decade ago. And
sorry to say, it is a decade ago. We've been around that long.
And Thomas Smith is still here. He still competes out all the GTA events. Really, really genuine person. Really
R35 GTR.
Good guy. The aero game changer. When Nemo came out and competed at World Time Attack, Nemo just annihilated the times during that era. And ever since then, aerodynamics has been the part that changes the game across the board. And it's not a, obviously horsepower is a big deal, but if you can't get the grip, if you can't
harness that horsepower.
Yeah, if you can't harness the horsepower, you're really not going to utilize it to its fullest potential. And when Nemo came around, that just opened up the eyes for everyone. And so today, when you look at the unlimited class cars, or the pro class cars at World Time Attack, or even at Attack.
Joshua Garcia rolling through turn 1 right there, that beautiful Hachiroku.
The Attack Japan currently that's happening right now, you take a look at the aero and the times that are being put down today, it's just extremely, extremely fast. And us over here in America, we're seeing that as well. In Canada, we're seeing that as well. So, William Ao Young, he's
really pushing that aero gain and putting massive amounts of aero and developing these cars to where they are on that Formula One. I don't want to say Formula One, but the budgets are getting higher, especially abroad in Australia, Japan. They're really pushing that aero to the next level. I mean, the difference is with aero on these type of cars, it's for a production-based car, whereas you have a Formula One, your Indy cars, your LMPs, your GTPs that are coming next year, LMDHs. You have those cars that are, designed in the wind tunnel, where these cars are made on the production line, and then everyone develops their own specific aero to suit their needs. So that's and it's very, I don't want to say backyard, but these guys are making their own stuff and doing it, like we've done for a long time. And now it's to that level where you have Aerodynamics just working on the cars, wind tunneling the cars, and all that. So it's just, that's where you see the time drops. The R35 going down the front straight, heading up into that turn 1, heading up the hill. Let's see who that might be. Let's see. Oh, that's Haley. Yeah.
Yep, that's Haley Myers.
And she's right there at 240, still getting warmed up. Looks like getting that power of the R35 down. And if you guys have ever seen, R35 in person and been underneath one and or even really driven one of those cars are engineered to go fast, man. Great 4-wheel drive platform, big twin turbos,
factory flat bottom.
Just amazing, beautiful car underneath, carbon bottom, and also the tranny is in the back, just like a Corvette. So very awesome car. Still looks like Thomas Smith. No, is anyone going to catch him in this first session? He's still at a 223.5. Still up there pretty fast. You see, there's another Supra creeping on Haley here.
I believe that's Austin Shipley.
Looks like it. There's about 3 E90 Supras here, and they're all white. Well, no, 4 when you include Jackie. Jackie should be out through 1, so he's got a little bit of time to go. He's got a Z4. Let me check my notes. Who's on that one?
James Litthausen.
Yeah, see, not a very minimal aero on that Z4, so he's going to be good down the straightaway. Beautiful shot here. Just resurfaced the track, actually, we found out this past winter, COTA did. So we had a shout out to Jeff Westfall. He was out here testing his Ferrari Challenge car. I believe last week he said the grip levels out there today, or for COTA, is amazing.
At pace, Jeff basically said that he's at 2 seconds faster than his normal time in the same car. So you could see like just a pavement improvement can really, really take time off the clock.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's amazing too. I mean, this is a 2-minute long track. It's a big track, but to pick up at 2 seconds, that's a lot of time just over a surface change. It's colder out there, so the cars are making a little bit more downforce with that thicker, denser air. But yeah, they're braking a lot harder. What is that up there up front? See, we got a Supra GTR battle. Looks like Haley's off the pace. Looks like she's cooling down.
And Austin Shipley going around.
Yeah. Austin looks like he's second on the time sheets at a 2:27.3. But still, Thomas Smith looking real good so far.
If you see Thomas Smith's Subaru up close, you'll notice that the aerodynamics is very minimal. It's a very well balanced, very well set up car, and a veteran driver. So Thomas Smith is he's been driving that car on the race circuit for a while, and he does really well. And it's almost like he's one with that car, and he operates it like he is the car. So a 2:23 on the first session of the day is a very fast time, and we expect that time to drop dramatically. This first session for each of the groups, what's going to happen is these guys are going to go fast. They're going to clock a fast time, and after lunch, they're going to all get regridded based on time index. So the reason why we do that is so that in the afternoon, everybody that's on track together, they're going to be within pace of each other, so that the gap between each other is going to be good, allowing them space to achieve the fastest lap.
It's James Lutthauser. Sorry if I butcher your name, James, but in the driver meeting, we call him, his last name's Lightbeer, because that's how it looks on paper. But yeah, it looks like he's out in front of that pack in that Z4. But he's at a 2:37.5. But looks like he's pretty nip and tuck through the S's there. But I love that car with the kind of very, on our shop car, we have it on our S2000, we have a Mooncraft or Spoon Sports hardtop, and those Z4s, they look pretty close to it back there. So gotta love those Coupe A's. They look amazing. You can get that clean air going to the back. That car unfortunately doesn't have a wing, but if it did, looks like an A90 Super getting off there. Looks like pretty much everyone's. Oh, look! I think the Spoon Sports car's still going, still getting those hot times out. But they're right there. I don't know if that's Aaron or Di in the first session here, but they're at a 2:29. They might turn it up a little bit too. But I think they're not too big on horsepower, but they have a great chassis set up. All those guys down there, I mean, if they can win at 25 hours of Thunderhill and make that car last like they did, I'm sure they can turn it up, turn the boost up, and go for a really hot lap. But yeah, if you check out the paddock back there, it's packed. We got over 74, 75 cars here today with Grid Life and everything. And if you guys missed the Grid Life practice, those guys were going real hot. We were in the green room and watching them go, and those guys are out there getting in as well. But
I believe like at 10 a.m. or so, the car show guys are going to start rolling in. The paddock's going to start filling up more, and right now it basically is that first session of Time Attack, the practice session of Grid Life.
We've got some DTM love right here. Look at the arrow on this Eagle Talon, some DTM American car here. But look at the fenders, the splitter on that car. Very well developed car.
If you don't know, an Eagle Talon is essentially a Mitsubishi Eclipse. Back when we were in high school, right after high school, we used to race a lot, and a very popular car to race was a Eagle Talon or a Mitsubishi Eclipse. So it's great to see. It's great to see one of these out here competing, and also it's great to see Paul back running the car. Last year, Paul came out and he had some mechanical issues, but it looks like this year the mechanical issues are resolved. The car's got some fresh paint or wrap on it, and it looks really good out there.
And that's a turbo 4-cylinder all-wheel drive car. Looks like it's the Spoon Sports car going down turn 1. Let's see if we can see who's driving that. You can notice by the helmet that kind of looks like Aaron. Di's helmet's pretty distinct, but looks like they might be off the pace a little bit, or they're still going. There's that beautiful Eagle Talon. It's amazing to say that Eagle Talon. But that wing is humongous. That looks like it's the same wing we have on our S2000, GT 1000, and that's a dual element wing. But yeah, that's a lot of downforce on that car. That splitter looks like pretty big, and also a diffuser back there. So I mean, who would ever think that someone would have a diffuser and a GT 1000 chassis mounted to Eagle Talon? But I mean, that car is, you wouldn't, if anyone didn't told you it wasn't, you'd probably believe him. But just amazing.
4G63 powered.
And it's an iron block, and those guys are making good power as well. They have to be, because they got to push through that aero drag. It looks like all those guys are cooling down, coming off track. You see everyone kind of rolling in through the back paddock. Probably everyone's waking up, and they're like, what can we do? Well, we're out here at COTA, Circuit of the Americas. Come on down. Tickets only $20 at the door.
If you're in Texas, you know, you still got plenty of time to get over here. I know there's 30 million people here in Texas. You got no reason not to be here. Yeah, this is the place to be.
We've already sold almost 2,000 tickets here. No, more than 2,000. 2,600 tickets pre-sale. Oh, there's Dai.
There's Daijiro Yoshihara.
And that's the Turn 14 Tesla. But if you missed it...
Dai is a retired Formula D driver. In 2000, and I believe it was 2013.
He won the championship.
Dai actually opened up the eyes for the front-wheel drive time attackers. That's when Spoon Sport USA brought down the FD2 that Dai drove at Button Willow GTA Finals, and Dai clocked a minute and 45 seconds in a car that's very mildly built. It was actually, you know, the same build that it was, you know, prior. Not much has changed on it, and that really opened up the eyes for all of us as to what a front-wheel drive car can do. And you know, I remember when that car was at Button Willow, Kevin and I would crawl under it, look under it, what's going on with the aero.
Trying to find out what's going on underneath there.
Yeah,
and what
trying to figure out how is this car so fast, right? We didn't really understand how a front-wheel drive car got so fast.
It's like Paul in that Eagle Talon at a 227.5. Man, I wasn't even expecting them to get that high, and they're out there really going fast. Third on the timesheets so far for this Group 3. It looks like they're cooling down. They're off the pace. So it looks like we're going to have Group 2 coming up here next. And wow, look at that. I mean, can anyone believe that that's a Tesla that you normally would see on the road? Electric, 100% electric car. But wow, look at the diffuser. I think that's a new wing too. New wing element or design with those swan necks, but even lower. So they're optimizing that high pressure, or I'm sorry, that low pressure, and really getting that downforce back there.
The guys over at Evasive Motorsports have been campaigning that Tesla at Pikes Peak. We're fortunate to be there with them at Pikes Peak, and during the practice week and practice days, that car was flying up that national park. Dai wheeled that thing like no other, and unfortunately on race day, for some apparent reason, it went into limp mode. And we were sad to see that, because I really wanted to see Dai put down a stupid fast stupid fast time up Pikes Peak. So they have unsolved business over there at Pikes Peak, and they're going to be back this year to really reset that time. So I'm super happy to see Dai here at COTA. I'm super happy to see the Evasive team here at COTA, because they're iconic. They're an iconic team. We you know, when we were time attackers, we still are, but when we were at beginning days of our time attack time, you know, we would eye their cars. I remember the Mitsubishi Evo that was going stupid fast at Button Willow. We'd crawl under that car also.
Shout out to Mike out there at Evasive. We got to bring that sucker back.
Yeah.
I miss that car. Full Voltex car, beautiful livery. I know they still have it. I see it there at their shop, but they need to bring that one out and really campaign that, or just to get the public out there and see it, you know, and you know, feel it out there.
These guys have cars that are the history of time attack, and they tell a story, especially for us American time attackers, because we look up to these guys.
And we have our own history too, so
Yeah.
it's really awesome to see.
Yep, and how they built their cars. We learned a lot from them. We learned how to go faster from them, and to see Time Attack evolve to where it is today, and a ton of effort was contributed by these guys.
It's an 8th gen Civic.
So this is Group 2 in grid.
Alex Moss up there front. Alex Moss up there in that green S2000. Very reminiscent to Tom Tang's old S2000. Very close. And here's Amir Beneteau in that
RS Future, Acura NSX, Coil Rad, Garrett Turbo.
And they just actually, if you were with us at Long Beach, on the streets of Long Beach, Amir had a catastrophic engine failure, and he had just had his car tuned up and the motor redone, and he's got a brand new K20 in there. And if you're down here at the Paddock, please, walk into their garage and check out that build. And that's an amazing, beautiful car. Everything engine related, everything from the turbos, all titanium exhaust, wastegate stuff, wastegate dumps. It's titanium, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful work. He's got new aero on there, and it's amazing. If you're a Honda tuning fan, that's amazing. Honda car tuned very, very well by Amir, and he's one of the faster drivers out here too. And he looks like he's going to be going out really, really soon. And also too, Amir, a veteran driver out there. He's been around for, I don't want to say a long time, and we're all getting old, but in race car drivers' life, everyone gets old in 2 minutes. But he's out there, and he's going to get an amazing time for that. Let's see, I don't have him on my sheet here. But
Amir is going to be in Group 1. So not this group, the following group.
That's good to see. He's out early. But also the paint on that car is really beautiful too. It's a Viper up front. I think everyone for Group 1 has already gridded it up. Oh, look at this STI. And that's Aaron up there in that STI. Let's see. I didn't see their times yesterday, but looks like they're third, fourth on grid.
Third.
That's the front of the grid, I'm hoping. But it looks like another GT1000. Shout out to APR for those amazing wings that produce real downforce. All their stuff is CAD designed and tested in the wind tunnel. I mean, you see everything here. So you got a Honda NSX, Ravi in the NSX. You got a GT3 Porsche. You have an A90 Supra, a Viper. So take your pick. You got every make and model out here. Looks like that's Gabe Zamora in that beautiful GT3 rolling into turn 1. Alex Moss in the S2000 Unlimited car. Beautiful green. Die.
In the Evasive Motorsports Turn 14 Tesla.
It's an IAG car right here.
Yep, that looks like Devin. Devin in the IAG Subaru. She's actually going to probably go really fast this weekend. She's improved her lap times dramatically last year, so I expect her to chip away at it this year.
Yeah, so many cars to keep track of this year. It's just a huge field, and we're just struggling to go over our notes just to make sure we get everyone's name right and the car models right.
That looks like a Plaid.
That is the Plaid.
Yeah, the Plaid is I believe it's Dussault design. Those guys also compete at Pikes Peak, but they compete at Pikes Peak with a old school Camaro. And that just, I was hoping that they brought it here, but it's a ridiculous build, extremely fast. Would have been exciting to see them bring that here.
It's Cal Fortner in that
AMG.
AMG. I mean, take your pick. I mean, you got every make and model out here, from Mercedes to BMW to Honda to Toyotas with the new Supras. So many.
So if you're out in Texas right now, sitting at home watching us on the live stream, you still got plenty of time to get out here. There's a ton of hotels nearby you could stay at. You know what? Pull your RV up, park it outside. Hook it up, camp out here. There's going to be a ton of fun activities out here. There's a go-kart track that you could see. There's drifting. You could get actually in one of the drift cars and get a ride along.
There's food trucks going to be here later this afternoon, serving food too.
And there's a car show. There's a car show. There's a performer that's going to be on stage. I believe he's going to be rapping or DJing or something to that effect. I met him last night.
Beautiful day out here. Just nice clear weather.
I believe that's Tim in the Mitsubishi Evo. He's going to start his hot lap right now.
So we got our today's schedule. We're in the middle of our Group 2, just getting out there. We have the Grid Life guys are they just went first of the day, 8 a.m. to 8:20. They were out there for 20 minutes. Now we have our time attack session, our first sessions of the day, and then from till 10. So we got a little bit of time here to go, and then we have a Grid Life. Their actual first race of Saturday, they have a 20-minute race, and then we got our session 2s for today at 10:30, starting at 10:30. So make sure your live feeds are on, and you're watching that live feed and getting all this hot track action here.
Here's Devin starting her hot lap.
Having a turn 1. Very flat on that car in the turn in. Here's Robbie, that pink, beautiful NSX, really clean, really simple on the aero, but really fast down the straightaways. That car is still, I believe, NA. No turbos on that car. So
actually, Robbie's car?
Is it?
Robbie's car actually has a K20C1 swap. I believe it's the first K20C1 swap NSX. He completed that swap for the Long Beach Grand Prix, and now he's here with it at COTA.
And everyone, it seems to be the trend here with the NSXs is putting that 4-cylinder in that K20, and it's really the balance in the back too, a little bit shorter of a motor, so you get a little bit different weight balance. Oh wow, look at that Mitsubishi Evo dragging that Voltex. That's got to be expensive. Shooting sparks out there, but it's looking amazing on that Voltex splitter.
So underneath the splitters, if you're wondering why there's spark, if you don't know, they got titanium skid plates underneath it. It's basically a protecting barrier that allows them not to destroy their splitters, as well as give some cool spark effects. Most of the guys that make a ton of downforce, they have titanium skid plates underneath. That way they know when they're bottoming out, and you could easily visually see it on camera, see it in pictures, and you can make adjustments to your suspension to not bottom out, so you can maximize the aerodynamics.
Yeah, Max went down. You see the end plates on that front splitter, really highly developed. You kind of see the angle of them kind of pointing out, but that car is making huge downforce. That's Alex Moss going down the front straight in that beautiful green S2000.
Clocking a 2 minute and 21 second, which is extremely fast for a Honda S2000.
Looks like he's ahead of the GT3. Porsche GT3, Mr. Zamora, Gabe Zamora out there. Here's Dye. Looks like he flashed in the emergencies.
Dye with a 2 minute 26 second in the Tesla.
He's kind of back into the track. Him flashing the emergencies is a little odd.
I believe that he probably has it on specifically because it's an electric car that doesn't make noise. That would be my guess, right?
So people can't, if they can't hear him, they can't, they can hopefully see him coming.
So out in Pikes Peak, all the electric cars that don't make noise have to have a siren. It's kind of bothersome hearing like a police siren race car pulling up the mountain, but that's one of the rules at
For
Pikes Peak.
spectators, so they know something's coming.
Yeah, that way you can actually like be alert if that car is coming your way, because some of these cars you don't hear a thing from them and they just go stupid fast.
And it's you just hear a whoosh, and the car's by you. Here's the back end of the track, back straight.
So number 57, Dussault in the Tesla Plaid clocked a 2 minute and 26.451, and Dayo Shihara in the Evasive Motorsports Turn 14 Model 3 clocked a 2:26.486.
3 1,000ths behind him.
So
Very,
it's
very
cool.
close.
It's extremely cool to see the two cars out here on the track. If you know anything about the Plaid out of the box, it's basically a factory supercar. And to be able to see the two cars being neck to neck here at Circuit of the Americas is something I've been wanting to see. In June over at Pikes Peak, Unplugged Motorsports, driven by Randy Pops, had a Plaid as well, and I really wanted to see those two cars at Pikes Peak compete, but unfortunately the Evasive Motorsports Turn 14 car went into limp mode on race day. But during practice, it really looked like the guys over at Evasive was going to take the win that weekend. But hoping to see these times go down by far as the weekend progresses.
Gorgeous 991 right there. GT3. That looks like to be GT3. Is that Lawrence?
Lawrence Yoon?
Lawrence out there. Let's see what time he has. But Porsche's a very, very interesting car. They have the engine over the rear wheels, so it's a very interesting car to get right and get turned and going. But once you figure out how to drive a Porsche, they're fast as anybody. And that car has that 3.8 naturally aspirated flat four. So if you're familiar with the Subaru platform and how they have a boxer engine, these cars also have a boxer engine. But they're a flat 6 and either a 3.6 or 3.8, even a 4-liter. But if you've ever heard a Porsche roar in anger, it's nothing like it. I know that car, you hear it when it goes by our booth right here, and it's just straight Stuttgart power. But yeah, and here's another German car.
It looks like California.
And that AMG, but that's a very long-nosed car, but very efficient when it comes to aerodynamics. Very efficient car.
It's extremely cool to see guys out here with Mercedes, representing Mercedes in the time attack field, because not too often do you see these cars out here competing. We'd love to see these cars get developed into unlimited class, like level builds, and really smash the clock, because we know their potential. It probably just takes an extremely dedicated budget to make that happen with the AMG GTS.
Well, with the GTSs, the AMGs, I think in particular, is just the thing that they fight is the weight of those cars. You can see them kind of offline there, and it looks like he's cooling down or letting the car cool down, but they're finding a lot of weight. Those cars come. It's a luxury car with a ton of accessories. I mean, you would expect it from an AMG, but when you try to take it to the track, I mean, the first things I would want to do is lighten those cars up a little bit.
That looks like Hannah in the 89 Supra. The car looks so good. It's got a revamped composites front splitter on it. I believe this is Hannah's first weekend over here at COTA. She's been practicing on the sim, and today she's expected to shave a few seconds off her time. They were out practicing yesterday, first time on the track, and she really enjoyed it. Her and son made the trek all the way out here from California, and I'm super happy to see them here competing with us.
Looks like a piece of brake ducting on the track right there. Can't quite tell what turn that is, but you don't want to hit that, especially at speed. maybe tear up an axle, tear up a splitter out there. Oh wow, it looks like on the radio we got people already asking about Jackie Ding. Looks like he's going to go out in the group number 1. They should be up next, but Jackie Ding, I saw him this morning at the drivers meeting and he looks ready to go.
Jackie Ding's always ready to go.
I mean, he's got that youthful exuberance. I mean, he just Jackie Ding, he kind of comes by the shop and he always comes in like a like a hurricane, if I, not to sound weird, but he's just got a lot of speed. I mean, that 8090 Super is raring to go, looking for those top times up there.
And in the street class, you know, Jackie Ding in a mirror is really fighting for it. They've been fighting for it all season last year at almost every circuit, and obviously, you know, COTA Circuit of the Americas is where they really want to duke it out. So, you know, Jackie is returning this weekend with his 890 Supra with much more development on it. Amir as well has returned with his Acura NSX with a ton of development on it. And that's the battle that you're going to want to watch in the street class. Seems to be the battle that we've been watching for the last, you know, 16 to 18 months or so.
And it's awesome to see those street class cars are built per the regulations and to the T, to where they take advantage of everything they can get out of that street class, and they're up there with the top times up there, almost unlimited cars, in limited cars, and they're nothing. They're not that far behind, and it's amazing to see they can get that out of that those street level cars and go that fast. And that seems to be the trend the last, I want to say, 3 or 4 years of guys developing cars for that particular street class, that street class regulation, and doing it to the T, where they show up, they run fastest of the day, if not, you know, also in their class as well, but and they really take advantage of the rule set there.
That's Devin coming down the front straight.
And that IAG STI, WRX STI, beautiful, nice livery in that car. And if you're not familiar with IAG, they make some of the best super parts out there. And I know at the shop I do about 150 of those ALSs every month, I'd want to say. But man, they make a good product. They make great engines. Very good on support. If you have a STI or WRX or, you know, FA or EJ engine, they're the people to talk to. It's like Ravi's in.
Ravi's pulling back into the pits.
See what they're doing. Maybe they're checking tire pressure here.
Ravi is with WDL Racing. We don't lift. Ravi provides all the pamphlets that we give out to spectators. He makes some really amazing pamphlets that's really educational to the spectators. For people that don't understand or know about time attack, you grab one of those pamphlets, flip through it, read through it. You're able to get a better understanding of how time attack works, thanks to Ravi.
Yeah, his team actually gave us a great booklet last night of just super high quality. It explains all the rules, all the classes, introduced a lot of the drivers, and I was just really amazed with the quality of it. Just the booklet is amazing. Looks like they got a good baseline. They got some tire pressures. Is he staying in? Are we staying in or are we going? We're going. See, they're done.
Looks like they're done.
They're done for the session, looks like. What was that? Did I just see
That's Cal Forner and the AMG as well.
Yeah, like almost like a GT3 car.
Looks like safety vehicle is going somewhere right now.
And they clean up that brake decking. That brake decking on track. Looks like some of our awesome camera crew out there getting the good action shots down there. The COTA team, safety crew, top notch. You probably heard on the line there. There's a piece of something out there. We better go pick it up. Yeah, looks like they're going. the track surface down there on the back straight. Looks like repaved a lot of this, but that looks like some cracks down there. Hopefully that doesn't affect too many people. Maybe these guys are just trying to catch the action. Looks like down in that braking zone, but yeah, that should be a lot of action down there a little bit later today. There it is. There it is. And they're eyeing. They're trying to get a clear spot to get out there and grab that piece. But I think everyone's still circulating around on track. But this shot actually gives a good idea of the size of COTA if you've never been here. Such an amazing facility, and you see that big jumbotron, that runoff there, the gravel trap, and then you have the tower in the background. I still haven't gone up there. I'm still a little bit too scared to get up there, but it's an amazing facility.
Yeah, if you were here for Formula One, there was over 440,000 people on this facility. Just to give you an idea of the magnitude of the facility, that it could host an event that large and capacity. Our goal, our dream, and our vision one day is to fill this facility up, even with 10% of that number. And I think we're on the right path. I think time attack. I think drifting, grid life, like these type of racing is the way to go because it relates to the everyday you and me.
I just
that
heard
drive
that.
our cars on the street, So, you guys, if you guys have never been here for Super Lap Battle, I reckon that you should be here. If you're in Austin, Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, you have no excuses. We're going on all weekend. Time to get out here.
Looks like Mr. Zamora. Gabe Zamora is second on the timesheets. I heard him blast past at a 2:24.3, and he was on a full flyer. Maybe he's just getting those Yokohamas warmed up and scrubbed in good. But and it looks like he got a 2:24. Looks like Group 1 getting ready here. You see that red 890 Supra right behind that McLaren, but that's Jackie Ding in that Supra. Lots of development on that car. Here's your session 1 Group 2 times, and Alex Moss not taking second to nobody at a 2:21.
Gabe with the 2:24.
He just
Jean
cranked
with
that
the
off,
2:24. Tim with the 2:25. Cal Fortner with the 2:25. Look at the times; they're just extremely close to each other. So you could already expect that the next session for this group is going to be extremely competitive.
It's good to see Alex Moss up there in that session, or Group 2 up there in a limited car, but still in a Honda S2000, beating everybody for that session. But yeah, it looks like everyone's still getting kind of warmed up. Still feeling everything out there, but everyone going fast. Looks like. Good aerial shots here. And just to recap today's schedule, so right now we're in session 1 of Super Lap Battle, and we're looking to get into Group 2 for their first sessions, but also this afternoon we got, let's see here, we got lunch break at 12, then we're coming back for another time attack session starting at 1 o'clock. Well, that's 1 o'clock, I believe, Central Time or Texas time. And then we also have a grid life right after that at 2:40. But and then also we have the Lawrence Star Drift guys out there, and then we have another time attack session at 3:25. So we're here till 3:25 to 5 p.m. So we're here till 5 for all this time attack action.
So this year this afternoon, we're gonna have the Lone Star Drift guys out on the track doing laps, which is gonna be extremely cool. Something we've been wanting to do. How can we ever get an opportunity to drift on a Formula One FIA Grade 1 circuit, right? Well, it's going to happen. and it's going to be exciting for the fans to watch, exciting for the fans on live stream to see, exciting for the tuning sport as a whole. We're trying to bring every form of excitement as it comes to motorsports to you guys, and we hope you guys enjoy it at home. And if you're able to get down here, we hope you turn off that TV, get in the car, drive down here, because this is where you need to be. Here,
it's $20 to get in. Not too much if you can get those pre-sale. I believe is over. Pre-sale they were $12 a ticket, but what a bargain to get in. $20. That's the type of racing action you get here. This is the best bang for the buck.
And I believe kids are free.
Yeah, bring the family.
Bring the entire family.
Get them into motorsports.
That's right. If the kids aren't into it today, they're not going to be into it 30 years from now. So bring your kids.
Get them out in the sunlight. Get them outside. Get them off those phones. Get them off the video games, and get them into some motorsport here at Circuit of the Americas.
The cool thing.
Yeah. If you're on Twitch, if you're on the live stream, stay on the live stream.
Yeah, if you're on Twitch, stay on Twitch.
Yeah, Twitch doing an amazing job this weekend about putting the live stream up. Here's Will. It's just rolling in. And that Mercedes AMG, that full carbon car, that's a factory race car. It's a pro comp car. But yeah, that's a factory GT3 race car. But very well developed car. But that's one of those $1 million cars. They can come here and compete, but they're not going to get overall honors. We let them come down and compete, but they're not going to get that overall honors. They're here to just come out and run. I mean, they like to have fun too. Get out some times out here and stack up against these time attack cars.
So Pro Comp basically allows cars that aren't within the rule set of street limited or unlimited to come out and actually play. Obviously, we don't want to keep anyone out of racing, out of time attack. So if you develop a car that's not within the rule set, but you know it's stupid fast and you want to showcase your work, the Pro Comp class is for you.
This is going to be an interesting little kind of outlap and battle. You got Will A. Young out there, first spot in the grid, P1 here, and that AMG right behind a factory race car. So it's going to be a good little battle. I mean, Will's got a ton of horsepower, a ton of downforce, probably a lot more than that factory AMG, but it's going to be a good little. Let's see how fast that AMG catches him. But that AMG is on slick tires. Will's not on slick tires, so let's see. He looks like he's warming up there. Yeah, that Mercedes is Will Hardman out there in that GT3 car.
The GT3 car is Richard. Richard Luttrell.
Yeah, Richard. I'm looking at here. Just going over my notes. There's so many cars and so many things to remember here. So you get it right. And McLaren too.
That's Zachary Sober in the McLaren. Jackie Ding in the A90 Supra. Everybody knows Jackie Ding. Jackie Ding is the youngest, one of the youngest guys I know in time attack that just so dedicated about going fast. I've watched Jackie Ding mature into this amazing person and driver, and I love seeing him out there smashing the time, because I know that when he's out there, he's going 110%.
And here's a Amir Beneteau in that Honda NSX getting going here. It's Andy Hullis in the McLaren 720S coming out.
Actually, I believe it was Andy in that other one. That's probably Zachary.
Oh, into that beautiful McLaren orange.
That's Will Hardman in the Mercedes-Benz AMG GTR.
See, another Supra. We got, and it looks like there's Ferris at the tail end of that group right there in that C6 Z06. Very hard to tell it's a Z06, C6 Z06 Corvette, but just the aero development. If you look when it comes by, you'll see those big turbos hanging off the side. So he's talking to Tony. It's like the Grid Life boys getting out there early. It's a Honda S2000 fam. If you don't know, we run a Honda S2000 in Global Time Attack. But here's Ferris looking to maybe get the sub 2 minute here.
Ferris is looking to be the king of COTA. So if Cole and the Life Motorsport guys are at home watching right now, I know they're watching Ferris and Will. Cole currently holds the lap record here at COTA, the Time Attack lap record.
Last year, 206.
Which is a 206.432, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And Ferris is out here trying to reset that. I believe Will's out here trying to reset that. Ferris's goal is obviously to go sub 2 minutes. That's basically going to be the benchmark at some point, hopefully after this weekend's over. And that's going to really show what Time Attack is all about.
So get everyone warming up here. Almost had out on the back, coming off the back straight over there. But this is going to be your group 1 guys, and they're going to be your fastest overall cars out there. And hopefully we see some hot action here. And they're gonna space them out a little bit. These cars make a ton of horsepower and a lot of downforce. So in those braking zones, they're gonna make up a lot of time, and also those straightaways are gonna make up a lot of time. So we give them a fair amount of space out there. I know
they're spaced out based on time index. So the fastest guy is going to be in the front, or the expected fastest guy is going to be in the front, and then it just works its way down. They're gapped out so that they have the space to complete a clean, fast lap. So here's Will coming down the front straight, starting his first flyer.
I just heard him go by. Looks like he's on the power, heading up into turn 1 here. Very minimal brake lights there, though. Here's that AMG GT3 car, factory race car. Still getting warmed up, looks like. Still trying to find the power there, put the power down. Nice Texas flag on the top, on the roof of that car. Some Texas boys come out here and done good. Let's see what Will comes around with on this first flyer lap.
There's Zachary Sober starting his flyer.
On the front of the straightaway there, it looks like to be that McLaren ran something over the front straight. Hopefully he didn't get into that. Let's see if we can see anything here. Maybe they took it with them. Oh yeah, here we go. There's a little piece of, oh, that's a big, well, not too big, but looks like a big piece of something. We don't want to get that up in somebody's radiator or intercooler. Oh no. Let's see where Will is. Can we find Will? Let's see if we got a time going for him yet. But that's Will, a very well-seasoned time attack driver, been at it a long time, and they're going to go out and they're going to do one warm-up lap and get out there and get their fast time in. Here he is, on the front straight.
With a 2:09.498. That's faster than yesterday's practice, so Will's going to be shaving time off.
They're just going to keep turning it up, and Will's going to find his bearings and find his braking points, and that time's, you're going to see that time go way down. Let's see what that GT3 comes by at. Richard with a 226, so still warming up, still probably warming up those tires. I know it's real cold out there. Oh, Jackie Ding at a 216. Great time for a Jackie Ding in that 890 Supra.
I believe that 216 is a new street class record. Amir with a 217.059.
So both of these street class cars out there fighting early, looks like. Looks like Amir's only, he's got a 217 dead, so only 6/10, 5.5 tenths off Jackie Dean.
Ferris Khartoumi with a 206.478.
So far, that's the fastest time of the day.
He's almost there. That's a very close overall track record.
Already. I mean, Ferris literally probably just got here this morning and just barely made it in tech, and he's out here slinging fire. It looks like not messing around this morning. Wow. Unbelievable. A lot of hot action this morning.
As you can see, this Group 1 class, they don't play. They're coming out serious. They're coming out to duke it out, and Ferris, literally the last of the pack on grid, just put down a 206.478. We believe there's way much more time on the table because that's his first hot lap of the weekend. He wasn't out here yesterday for practice, so we know there's going to be more to it.
It's like that's James in that GT2 RS Porsche pulling off to the side there. Hopefully he doesn't have any trouble. And here's Ferris rolling through that back straight. Or rolling onto that back straight. Yeah, that back straight is huge. A lot of time being made up. Back there, looks like Ferris is off the pace. Look at that Porsche going through that back straight into the braking zone here, braking hard. Turn 19. Turn 19. James Shin, 27. Yeah.
Yep, that's Jason Shin.
Jason Shin, I'm sorry.
That's Gabriel Shadid coming down the front straight.
M3 four-door E90. E90 BMW.
Gabe's also a veteran of Time Attack. He comes out to COTA every year. He tries to come out every year. He also runs at in California at Buttonwillow GTA Finals with us. I believe we met Gabe through when we were competing with Shift Sector. Looks like Will pulled back into the hot pits.
Get some data off that car and hopefully go out. I'm hoping for another hot lap out of Will, but there looks like they're collecting data right now, figuring out what's happening with the car, dissecting all those tire pressures, those tire temperatures, and make sure everything's good for the car.
What a lot of these unlimited class guys do is they'll go out there, get that flyer in, and then they come in, look at the data. A lot of these cars have high-level technology involved in them.
The pit lane.
So they can look at the data and see where they can improve time. And, a tenth of a second here, a tenth of a second there, makes up a lot of time over this long circuit at Circuit of the Americas.
It looks like Will backing in the garage. Looks like they're going to dissect that data, and they got their first kind of banker in and their first baseline in. And
I know Cole and the Life Motorsport crew at home is watching right now, really closely looking at that time. The guys over at Life's Motorsport is building a Frank, the R35, that's going to go up Pikes Peak with a diesel-powered engine. They're busy with that program right now, so they couldn't make it out here today. Sydney's under construction again. She's hurt, so they couldn't bring the GTR back out. But I know Cole's at home watching Ferris put down these times, and he's
probably really wishing he was out here and he had a car to put up there with him
and defend his title, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know those guys are just drinking that morning coffee and enjoying this first session of these unlimited cars. And if you're not familiar with that Live Motorsport GTR, amazing car, amazing aero developed car. But they're revamping for this year at Pikes Peak, and they're putting a 6-liter Power Stroke diesel in that car and going for the overall diesel record at Pikes Peak, and that's going to be from an engineering standpoint, a very interesting car to see. Here's Jackie Ding rolling through turn 1. I think looks to be off the pace, but again, back to that Life Motorsports GTR. I mean, whoever thunk it to put a 6-liter Power Stroke diesel in a Nissan GTR, but if those guys can do it, or if anyone can, those guys can. And very, very smart guys up there, and they'll figure it out. They'll figure it out. But I just want to know the horsepower more than also torque numbers as well. I'm looking for that thing to make well over 1,300 foot-pounds of torque. They can do it on that 6-liter diesel.
Looks like Jackie's still out on his second flyer. He's pulling up right behind Amir.
Looks like Amir's off the pace too. These guys are cooling down, looks like.
It's beautiful to see these two guys back to back on the track. This is the competition in street class right here. These two guys are going to be duking it out all weekend.
Yeah, this is the type of action we want to see. I mean, you have Ferris up there, Will up there with those top times, but I think this battle right here is just as good, if not better, because you have not as much horsepower, but you still have that speed there. Beautiful 997 GT3. Curious to see if that's a factory cup car. I don't think it is. It might be a factory GT3 with the cup car bits on it. But yeah, that's probably one of the firing points of this weekend is that Jackie Ding Amir battle. I mean, those guys are right there with it. Jackie, actually, looks like
Amir just went 215, which resets the street tire class record.
Looks like he beat Jackie out by 3/10. I'm saying 3/10 of a second. So very, very tight battle there.
What a battle in that first session of the weekend.
Check out that McLaren, that papaya, the McLaren papaya color.
It's super exciting to see these two guys sort out their cars over the year and bring it back and go even faster. Last year, Amir had a catastrophic failure and he wasn't able to put on a time that he was happy with. But it looks like this year he's come prepared. Jackie's also come prepared. They're literally 3/10 off of each other right now. Both resetted last year's street tire class record, and the weekend's not over. This is just the beginning. So. I expect to see that time go down even more as they crank up the power and get more data on their car.
It's like to be everyone cooling down, maybe heading in, getting dissecting that data of this first session, but still relatively cold. A lot of sunlight on the track surface, but these aren't going to be the fast times. Maybe the fast times might come later this afternoon when the track heats up a little bit. You get a little bit more temperature in that surface, but. Ferris, I dare to say King Ferris. He hasn't become king yet, but
not far from it.
Up there with a 206.478.
Looks like he's 400ths away from being the king of COTA.
Yep. That's exactly that. McLaren. Still out there, just getting all he can. And I believe that's Will Hardman. Excuse me, Hardman in that AMG GT3.
That's a Mercedes-Benz of Austin and a Subaru of Austin, represented by Will Hardman in that AMG GT3.
That's good to see the local boys, local dealerships out here flexing their muscle and showing their speed, but looks like the Grid Life guys are out there for their first race. Oh, it looks like the car show guys actually out there
starting to fill up. The
lining up,
Paddock starting to fill up,
shining it up. If you guys can't hear this on the live stream, I'm sure you can. This car's a screamer. The GT3.
Jason Chin in the GT3.
Just an amazing, beautiful sounding car. 991 GT3.
Almost sounds as good as my Honda Accord.
Yeah, if you guys aren't familiar with our Honda Accord, it's been a while, but I spent many years behind the wheel, and man, I'm half death. But when you hear that V6 a rolling, it's nothing like it.
It's collecting dust right now, but maybe we'll be inspired one day to bring it back to life.
Here's the Grid Life guys all lined up.
The Grid Life field is full this year. It's got, I believe, 36 cars. Super exciting wheel-to-wheel racing. It's great to see all these cars show up and compete and have a good time, put up a show for everybody at home and here watching.
These guys are getting ready to go here. Well, it's good to see a couple S2000s at the front of the grid. Looks like all the Time Attack boys are pulling into the garage. Looks like Jackie Ding out there. It looks like that's him getting out there. 996 GT3. You can tell by those headlights, very distinct on the 996.
That's Eric Sutton.
Oh, Eric, it's good to see Eric. I haven't seen him in a while. It's actually GT2 or turbo car, very different. Well, not very different, but that's the turbo. That's how you can tell the GT2s and GT3s different. Looks like somebody spun out up there. But already you can look at the paddock and the pit lane right there, and just a ton of. We expect a lot of people here this weekend.
That's John McGinnis in his GT3 RS. Pulled back into the hot pit lane.
Yeah, it's great to see the difference of this car compared to like a cup car, but horsepower's a little bit more. But you see that Life Motorsport a sticker on there on the back wing, and those guys at Life, they do anything under the sun. But very good at Porsche tuning, taking Porsches to the next level. But here's your times for Session 1, Group 1. Ferris in that Z06. C6 Corvette up there with the 2064, very close to the lap record here. I know he's chasing that. Will right behind him at a 209. Those guys are probably still on that low boost map, still working out the kinks, and maybe this afternoon they'll turn it up a little bit and see what we get. But and again with that Amir Benetou and Jackie Ding battle, Amir just barely getting them.
Both of them reset last year's street tire record. They're going to be duking it out, like I said, all weekend. Look at those times. It's going to keep falling as long as they don't have any mechanical failures.
Yeah, it looks amazing, but yeah, Amir not messing around with that time. Just barely beating by 0.3 of a second. Very close. A very different setup cars. Very different. Same tire, but very different setup cars. And it's good to see them so tight together as far as time goes. 0.3 is almost a blink of an eye, and for a 2-minute long track, that's very, very small of a time, and then for them to be so close just shows how close the competition is between those two drivers out there, those two teams. A good shot of the Lone Star Drift guys out there burning up those tires. But if you calm it down, you can get a ride in a drift car.
So Session 1 of Super Lap Battle Time Attack is done. We're going to switch over to the Grid Life race, the first race of the weekend. You can see all the cars gridded up. It's going to be an amazing race. It's going to be exciting to watch. These guys do neck-to-neck racing, combating for corners, combating for position in corners. And the Grid Life guys the commentators, are going to come in and take over and tell you guys all about it. So before we transition over, we're going to show the standing for each class.
You got Group 1 here, Session 1. King Ferris still at the top. Just came out there, did that one flyer lap, and looks like he went in. But man, he's fastest the day so far, fastest of the weekend so far. Out of 206.4. Will right behind him.
209.498.
209. 3 seconds behind him, though. But then Austin, a little bit farther behind him, at 4 seconds behind at 213.5.
The 911 C2.
And then Amir at a 215 and Jackie Dean at 216. But those are street class cars. Amazing to see those guys so close to those unlimited cars. That just shows you the level of development of those cars.
And they're built to the limit of the street class rules.
But a lot of already still early in the runnings this weekend. But
so you can see the standings for the enthusiast class. Gregory Formosa, a 234.948. Stefan Bustler, 241.254. Austin Sierra in a 243.438. Brandon Luthi in a 245.505. And that's the street class standings right now. Thomas Smith at 219.879.
That's your second session, or second Group 3 with Thomas Smith. Right there on the podium. Looks like he's looking for a podium.
So it's Amir, Jackie, and Thomas Smith first, second, and third in the street class. And in the limited class is Andy, Thomas, and James, 217.048, 217.926, and 218.608. And in the unlimited class, competing for obviously overall track record, Ferris Khartoumi with a 206.478, William Al Young with a 209.497, and Mark Austin
and Cameron Lawrence
with a 213.598 in a Porsche. And Pro Comp, Richard Luttrell with the Mercedes GT3 216.724, Ryan Dussex in the Super Tyco Subaru 2 minute 33 seconds 348, and Nicholas Bright in the Spoon Sport TSX in third. We're going to hand it off to the GLTC crew, and Super Lap Battle will return at 10:25. So enjoy the Grid Life race, guys.
For that second session.
The city of Austin, Texas plays host to the opening round of the 2022 Grid Life Touring Cup in conjunction with Super Lap Battle. This wheel-to-wheel racing series has taken the club racing world by storm, offering single-class sprint racing at events across the country. With a 30-car field in store at Circuit of the Americas, GLTC drivers and teams prepare for a 20-minute qualifying session to set the grid for the first of 4 races this weekend. Welcome back to COTA. I'm Kyle Heyer, joined by Alex Moss. Alex, welcome back. Qualifying now, 20 minutes up on the board for drivers to run the fastest lap they can to set the grid for race number 1. So as we're sitting here at COTA waiting for the qualifying session to get underway, Alex, you were just out there in time attack. You've got your first couple laps of the weekend down. Conditions seem good today. We'll see how it is for the GLTC cars.
Yeah, conditions were great. Track looks awesome. It's been repaved for part of it. It's super smooth in the areas that's been repaved. And yeah, it's great. Couldn't ask for more.
The track repaved, you can see right there, sections 2 through 8 basically, as well as the arena section, which is turns 12 through 15. Brand new asphalt down. Had drivers tell me that it's actually pretty sticky pavement, and that we ran some really quick times earlier. We actually broke the track record for GLTC. James Houghton at a 2:27. 4. Now, these cars are running roughly 12.5 pounds per horsepower, all balanced with weight modifiers for all the aero bits and parts and pieces they put on. Most cars are running around 200 to 220 horsepower, depending on the configuration, so they don't have a lot of straight line speed, but what they lack in that grunt, they make up in the corners. A couple cars to note, though, is that red and white number 41. That's James Houghton. We mentioned earlier, his ratio of wins to starts is 75%. 3 of 4 races he won back here in 2020. That car has only ever competed in GLTC competition at this racetrack, and he was the fastest in practice by a half a second over our champion from 2021, Jeremy Swenson. So I think Houghton's going to be the one to beat here in qualifying.
Yeah, he's certainly one to watch. He came out in 2020 with that brand new build, came and really dominated the weekend. Then, of course, we all got hit with COVID, and he got locked up in Canada for the last 2 years. So here we are 2 years later on, and he's bringing the car back out, and it's right back where he was, apparently.
Jet black pavement in that arena section, 12 through 15. Great over-under passing opportunities here. When we get to our first race later today, that'll be a great place to kind of get an over-under and get underneath somebody to make a pass, as well as the main passing zones at turn 1, turn 11, and turn 12. And the drivers just warming up now to get themselves set for their first flying lap. Fastest lap of the session will set in your starting position for the race, and we're expecting lap times to be in the kind of mid to low 227s. This car is Tom O'Gorman running for the Andy Smedegard Motorsports with Hawk Performance, and Tom's climbing up the hill. He won about 7 races in 2021 across about 6 or 7 rounds that he competed in. Has experience in the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge as well as Pirelli World Challenge. Won a couple championships there. Has won at Sebring and Daytona and Road Atlanta and VIR. Very deep racing history for Tom, and now he's found a home in GLTC.
That's right. Yeah, he's got quite the resume, and he's very well ingrained in that ASM team now, and helping lead the driving of that team.
Andy Smedegard is following right behind him. So is Matt Waldbaum and Zach Lavoie. Those are 4 of the ASM Honda S2000s, all basically the same setup for better or for worse. K24 powered Honda S2000s, so they should be real fast once we get into the qualifying here. But again, the straight line speed is not going to be the advantage for those cars. It'll be all the aero those cars have. So I think the S's section will be a really great area for them. There's a look at one of those new Corvettes, the BRZ, that is out of Canada. That is the number 44, driven by, actually that's not the 44, that is the Rice-Spec car that is out of, where's that car from? At least the driver is Vitas Aeronauskis out of Romeoville, Illinois. That's a 2015 Subaru BRZ. So much weight taken out of the car. That thing weighs about 2,500 pounds without a driver in it. It's an old TCA car from the World Challenge days. So into the S's now. There's Clayton Fitzpatrick. That's that lime green number 71. And a lot of traffic in practice. That was one of the things that people told me was that it was real busy out there, only for having 26 to 30 cars. But when you're at a time attack event, when there's only a couple cars on track at once, 30 cars on track is a lot to have, Alex.
Yeah, and that's what you want in a race, right? When we're in a wheel-to-wheel race series, a lot of the fun comes in running with other guys, not just being out there by yourself. But when it comes to practicing, when it comes to qualifying, you want that same clean track that all the time attack drivers have just to do your absolute best lap.
In that number 920, that's that green and white Civic. That is Dyson Pham out of Richmond, Texas. That's a 1998 Honda Civic. Now, Dyson actually has a win in GLTC competition back in 2020 at NOLA Motorsport Park. So this is his first return to competition, sharing that car with Dai Win. So they'll be trading off each session. Also got to look at Fiona Liu, who's in that blue and white S2000 for PhD Racing. She has not driven that car in 2 years. She's out of Palo Alto, California, but has been in, I think, Taiwan for a couple of years. So it's her first time back driving this car in quite some time.
Yeah, it looks like we've got a car pulling off to the side there just after turn 12, I think.
That's that Rice-Spec BRZ by the looks of it. That is, again, Vitas Aeronauskis in the number 429. And pulls off. He looks like he's rolling now, so maybe just cycling the electronics there.
Yeah, it could be just trying to get himself some space and clean track like we're talking about these guys want. And it looks like we're starting to get the hot lap times coming in here now with Jeremy right back to the top where he left off in practice.
Yeah, first time on the board for Jeremy Swenson is a 227.8, which is, as you mentioned, right where he was in practice. O'Gorman with a 228.3. Smedegard gets bumped by Paul Curley in that brand new Corvette out of the G-Speed camp. He goes a 228.941. Houghton at a 230. Interesting that Houghton Houghton was only at a 2:30. I would have thought he'd be a one and done, but he might go for more than one lap.
I think he will here because I'm sure he's not going to be happy with that. He's certainly going to be capable of being right there with Swenson and probably ahead of Swenson. So I expect to see him go again. Maybe took an extra warm-up lap to get everything up to temp before he really hit it.
That orange Corvette is Paul Costas. He got here real late last night. He's another driver out of the G-Speed camp using a borrowed car for this weekend, 2002 Chevrolet Corvette. As we mentioned in practice, the Corvette solution wasn't really the popular choice. Jeremy Swenson kind of pioneered the Corvette in this category as a competitive platform, and now we've got 6 of them on the entry list this weekend, running up against Mazda MX-5s and Honda S2000s, but again, all balanced with weight. So those Corvettes are a lot heavier. So they're going to have grunt on the straightaways, but when they get to the switchback sections, they're going to have a lot of trouble keeping pace with the lighter cars.
Yep, I think in the transitions, they have a big tire, so you're going to see them have a lot of grip still. So that they're not going to be down on grip, but it's the transitions where you need the nimble chassis and the nimble car where I think they're going to struggle a little bit. But they'll have that top-end speed down the straights, both because they have a lot of power, and 2, because they have a low drag type of shape. And the high-speed sections, it's more power to drag than it is power to weight.
There's Brian DeFries. That's that blue and black Honda Civic, the 898. Brian is running for Robertson Racing out of Austin, Texas. Lives basically right across the street. This is an easy trip for him. In the past, he has driven that car 2 events all the way up in Michigan. So he's come from a long way driving that car. O'Gorman, a 227.059, straight to the top of the board. That is a new track record for GLTC. What a lap. We didn't think this track would be their strength, Alex, but that is an unbelievable time.
Yeah, it is, and we'll have to see if that time holds, but he's got to be happy with that.
It didn't. 226.382 for Jeremy Swenson. That is a new track record by 0.7 of a second. Unbelievable pace that we have here in qualifying.
Yeah, absolutely, and it gets fun, doesn't it, when we start seeing the lap record fall several times in just a couple of seconds here.
And Andy Smedgar goes third quick at 228.177, 228.941 for Paul Curley. Look at all the cars we have that are sub 230. That was reasonable pace before. Not anymore. You're going to have to do better than that. Houghton does. A 227.710 puts him P3 on the board. Man, really competitive here in qualifying. There's Colton Wade, Wes Case, Gary Wimble, and new driver Jackson Jensen in that C6 Corvette, son of Eric Jensen, father-son duo. Thought I saw a piece of debris there in turn 1 potentially on the inside apex, so we'll see if that impacts any of the driving line. Yeah, what is that? That might be...
It's like a fender liner of some sort of one of the cars.
Yeah, it should just be lightweight plastic. Shouldn't be a huge concern. And there you kind of wash out fairly wide on exit there anyway, Alex, so that probably won't be a big issue.
Yeah, well, there's several lines through turn 1, and from what I understand, it was designed that way to allow good racing and allow drivers to take several lines. So there are cases where you might end up being... Yeah, you see a couple of cars getting pretty close to that.
Well, you treat that as the new apex. There's Swenson on a cool down. There's Eric Jensen out of College Station, Texas for G-Speed in that number 184 LS Swap Scion FRS. He has 1 win under his belt. That came back at Heartland Park last year in August. And he's been back with us since about NCM, about April of last year. And he's been to pretty much everything since. So they've really committed, that entire family, taking 2 trailers to every event all the way across the country. They're coming up to Lime Rock with us later this year as well. So a lot of highway time on schedule for those guys.
Yeah, Lime Rock's close. Lime Rock's a big haul for us, and we're halfway there compared to these guys.
There's Devin Giles in the number 743 for Professional Awesome Racing. Got here real late last night. The weather up in the Chicago area was a big issue. A lot of people had trouble getting here, getting flights, driving. So he was a little late getting here. Finally got himself set up to qualify, so we'll see how he does. Gary Wimble, and there's Jackson running a little wide. So that is an off-track moment there. I was going to mention track limits. The inner white line is our track limit here this weekend. If you can see daylight between that white line and your one of your tires, that's a lap thrown away. So for Jackson, that will not be a valid lap. And there's Gary Wimble at number 1. This is a Duratec swapped Mazda MX-5. So this is basically a Ford-derived motor, about a 2.4, 2.5 liter. And this formula has been tested over the years. They've really pioneered this formula. They built their own oil pans and gotten them produced, and that was a whole expense. But now that they've got them sorted out, they're real solid cars. So Swenson at the top of the board. That time is sticking. Micaiah Hackbarth in the ASM number 447 Porsche Cayman S jumps up to P2. That's a 226.855. So that bumps Houghton to 4th. Heitkotter goes P5. That is the Forsberg Racing 05 Nissan 370Z height cutter also comes from a professional racing background, Alex. So there's a lot of stacked talent there at the top of the board.
Yeah, there is, and GLTC just has a ton of talent, a ton of great drivers in it, and it's great to see it. But everyone's still remaining so friendly with each other and generally racing really well with each other.
So we've got, again, 31 cars that were eligible to qualify. We are down to 30 that have taken times. And there's that 44. That is the 2020 Ford Mustang, the newest car in the field. Again, that is all the way out of Canada with Charles-André Billedeux out of Foster, Quebec, Canada. And glad to have him with us. This is an interesting formula. We haven't seen a car this new compete in GLTC. A lot of times you'll find, tuner cars from the 90s and early 2000s, but to bring a brand new car, I think that's really interesting to see. And there's some new things like traction control and ABS that might be better on a car of this vintage versus one from 20 years ago.
Yeah, and we see that in Time Attack, but I think the main reason we don't see the newer cars in GLTC is because the first thing you do when you go to build a GLTC car is take it apart and take everything out of it and throw a lot of that stuff away. And that's expensive to do on a new car compared to an old one. But you get, like you said, a lot of the new advances are probably a stiffer chassis. You get the better design suspension and ABS systems.
Whoa.
That's like Devin.
That's Devin Giles. Yeah, this is, again, a car that just got here basically last night into this morning, and that is straight off. Is that at turn 1?
I think that's
it
turn
is.
1, yeah.
And so he's just gone straight, and he's way off in the kitty litter there, so that's going to certainly be the end of the session if they throw this yellow. But for now, it's still green, but that could just be ABS failure potentially. Just lock it up and go straight.
It's a long way off there, so I almost suspect he thinks he's had a problem, and then in an attempt to try and save the session for everyone, he's just tried to get out of the track and got stuck there.
About as far off as you could be.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah, if he kept going, I think he would have made it through a gap, but that gravel's designed to stop a car and not to let it just drive through it.
Yep, so we just saw Andy Smedgaard roll through turn 1. Still looked like he was at pace. There's Matt Waldbaum. This is a brand new build. That's that gray and yellow and magenta car, the bottom of the shot. Waldbaum is a new driver to wheel-to-wheel racing and is working on getting his GLTC license here this weekend. Very similar car to Smedgaard and O'Gorman's. Colton Wade in that white M3, and then there's Jackson Jensen. These two have kind of run nose to tail for the majority of the session. Maybe some co-opetition, as Darrell Waltrip used to call it, kind of working together and also competing at the same time.
Yeah, could be, although I think in qualifying, especially on these GLTC cars, you always run, I think in any series, you run the risk of messing each other up if you try and play games like that, try and get a toe and that kind of thing. In qualifying, I think I would probably play the game of just get me some clear track and let me see what I can do, rather than trying to get toes and things like that. But they may be trying to do that.
Here's another driver that is new this weekend. That is a borrowed car. That NC, I believe, is the 140 or the 134 of Chris Taylor for Chris Taylor Racing Services in Lone Star Rallycross at DeVal, Texas. That's a borrowed car, and just going to make do with it this weekend. It should be, relatively quick. It's that power to weight and making speed. It has the bare minimum you could possibly have for taillights. It's got 2 Christmas light bulbs tacked in the back there, I think, but it certainly doesn't necessarily look the part, but it's quick. Bunch of cars coming across the line now. Clayton Fitzpatrick. There's that BRZ that jumped up. And hey, have a look at this. Micaiah Hackbarth, new track record again, 225.990. So ASM sits on pole with the Cayman S at the moment.
Yeah, that's really exciting. Micaiah's obviously that's also a new build. That's done 1 race weekend so far. This is only its 2nd race weekend, so that is also a new car to the series, new car to that driver, and Micaiah is new to the series as well. So that's pretty exciting to see him manage to get up to the top there.
It's really exciting, and again, to reiterate how it's possible to balance so many different kinds of cars. Adam Jabay, our motorsports director, has essentially built a rule set along with all the other people that help behind the scenes at Grid Life that allow balancing based on really the main things that make a car fast. You've got your tires, your aerodynamics, your engine power. Those are really your 3 big things, and your weight, basically. So your 3 big things that affect the car: the weight, the power of the tires, and the aero. And all those things are balanced together in modifier form to balance all these cars. So Micaiah might be heavier, but has more tire. and might have more aero as well. So, you can kind of pick and choose your path here. It's kind of a pick your own adventure in GLTC. We've had minivans compete here. In 2020, it was Carl Hurdle and that 2018 Honda Odyssey that competed. That was a lot of fun too. That car wasn't even that slow. It was actually right up there in the mix. So there are so many different ways you can go fast in GLTC. There's Colton Wade again across the board in that number 18. And I have not seen, oh, here he is, a 2:33.861. That was his best lap that he just ran. Wes Case also looked like he just ran an improvement. Matt Waldbaum would replace an alternator after practice, and he's still 11th as it stands. There's Smedegaard in the braking zone for turn 11.
Yeah, and like you were saying, the number of ways to build a car for GLTC, not the same formula works on every track. On a track like COTA, you probably want... COTA's a pretty balanced track, but you probably are willing to take a little bit more weight to give you a little bit more power. To get you down those straights. Whereas some of the more club racing, smaller tracks that we often visit, then that extra weight becomes a detriment and you can't always use all that extra power on the top end.
There's Austin Cobb in that kind of slick back Mazda Miata. This is his second weekend as well in GLTC. He's got a turbo in that thing as well, which is a unique formula for a GLTC car. We haven't really seen a lot of forced induction here in the series. It doesn't seem like it was the way to go fast, but Austin is kind of pioneering that right now. 20th on the board, a best of a 2:37.515. There's Fiona Liu, who again hadn't seen this car in 2 years, just came across the line, tripped 24th. Best of a 2:41.251 so far. Clayton Fitzpatrick got here late last night. That's that 71. He's currently 26th. But at the top of the board, again, a sub 226 for a car that is less than 250 horsepower, I believe. That is a mega lap time, Alex.
Yeah, that's a crazy fast lap time.
This is actually over at turn 10.
Yep, and it looks like he has just driven off the track to get away or get off track. Must have thought he was dropping fluids or something like that, and so tried to preserve the session for everyone.
And to his benefit, and to his credit, I should say, he actually did do a pretty good job of getting out of the way.
Yep.
So that was well done there. There's Chris Taylor again, working on his next flying lap. At the top of the board, we haven't really seen much shuffling since Micaiah jumped up there. There's a few minutes left here in this session. Other notables, Eric Jensen jumped to 9th with a 2:29.272. Austin Hurdle at a 2:28.799. Paul Costas at 2:30.3, and Jackson Jensen, again, his first weekend ever wheel-to-wheel racing, a 2:31.548 puts him 13th out of 30 cars. Really, really solid run for that young man. There's Devin Giles going to get on the hook, so there's something definitely wrong with that car, and he'll have to get it towed back to the garage.
Yeah, and he's done an excellent job. They've managed to he parked there about halfway through the session. There's not been a single yellow flag, and the recovery team is able to get out there and get hold of that car and pull it in without interrupting the session. So really an excellent job of Devin doing what he needed to do when he realized there was a problem.
There's Wes Case in the number 767. That car is for Red Eye Racing out of T, South Dakota in a 2002 BMW M3. And calls it Red Eye Racing because of the red halo headlights in this thing. It looks real mean, especially at night. We have raced at night before, and it is a spectacle. But Wes, right now, in that 767, I have him not actually, oh, yes, I do have him scored. 21st at the moment, 2:37.906. Charles-Andre Billedeux just ran a 2:34.9, puts him 17th. That is his best lap in that Ford Mustang, that number 44.
Yeah, and I think we're not seeing the shuffling at the top that we often see, probably because of the tire rule changes. These street tires will not run fast laps, lap after lap after lap. You do get more fall off, whereas when we had the race tires previously, they would warm up and they would start to come in after 4, 5, 6 laps. So we used to see the street-tired cars jump to the top early in the session, and then the race-tired cars would all start setting their best laps later on in the session.
You bring up a good point about that as we see the checkered flag here on the session. So whoever is left on a flyer will finish it up this time. The street tire versus slick tire, that was done for a variety of reasons. One of them being that a street tire gives you fundamentally a little less grip. So it should make the cars a little bit more interesting to drive, more interesting to look at, as this is a spectator series. They're also a significant amount less to buy. They're about half the price of the best tire previously, and it just gives you more options to go fast. Really, there wasn't that many choices in terms of slick racing tires in the sizes that were needed for GLTC, whereas the 200 treadwear market is incredibly competitive, and there is a variety of compounds that you can choose from. I think the prevailing one that most teams have gone for is the Falcon RT660, which is a relatively new tire made for competition purposes, and that has been incredibly effective even when the majority of drivers were running on slick tires before. So the lap times, we have seen no drop off, and in fact an improvement in lap times, probably also due to the drivers consistently making their cars faster and faster, as well as the track repaving probably had a piece of that as well.
Yep, I think all of those things have played a part in it. And yeah, and there's been a little bit of a rule adjustment to compensate for those street tires. It used to be that if you took a race tire, you were taking a weight penalty for that. So all the cars that used to be on race tires are now either more powerful than they were last year, or they're lighter than they were last year.
So lots of rule changes and lots of new things coming into the season. New points format as well that we'll get into later in the year when we start getting into the majority of the Grid Life Touring Cup broadcast that will kick off in June at Gingerman Raceway. But looks like a flat left rear tire. Don't know if that is the reason for or a symptom of him going off course at turn 10. But either way, preserve the wheel, looks like it'll be savable there, so that's great for Devin Giles, and he'll get that towed back to the paddock. Micaiah Hackbarth is going to be your pole sitter for the first race later today. Jeremy Swenson will start alongside him on the front row. Tom O'Gorman and Andy Smedegard will share row number 2 in the ASM camp. James Houghton in the 41 for K-Tuned will start in row 3 alongside the Forsberg Racing 05 of Brian Heitkotter. Then Paul Curley in the 45 G-Speed Corvette in row 4 alongside Austin Hurdle. Row 5 will be Eric Jensen for G-Speed, and Luke McGrew in the number 7. Then Matt Waldbaum, Paul Costas will be row 6. Jackson Jensen and Zach Lavoie, row number 7. Row 8, Gary Wimble and Colton Wade. And then the rest of the timing and scoring, again, available on Race Hero IO for this weekend for all of the competition for Super Lap Battle. So really competitive qualifying session. I'm really excited to see this first race. It'll be later today, about 2:40, I believe, for our first race. And just to kick off how those look, Alex, very, very short races. 20 minutes, they fit within a session. Green flag, and we're going to throw the checker somewhere around 12 to 15 minutes into that race. And it's going to get real wild real fast, so make sure you tune in for that one. Lots of passing, lots of different strategies in terms of building cars, but about time to turn things over back to the SLB guys, Alex, but I can't wait for race 1.
Yeah, I can't wait too. It's going to be quite the spectacle, and I think everyone's going to enjoy it.
So with the SLB cars lining up for the next group, we're going to turn things back over to the SLB crew, and we'll be back with you for race 1 of Grid Life Touring Cup later this afternoon. Thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll see you later.
So we got Group 4 lining up here for their second session of the day, time attack session. Looks like everyone's lined up ready to go. I hope everyone's still reeling off that 206 that Ferris just threw down in traffic, mind you. But here we go, Group 4.
If you were watching that session of the Group 1, Ferris Khartoumi started off in the back of the pack. He worked his way to the front of the pack, clocking a 206, 4/10 from the overall track record. So it looks like that overall track record is going to be swept from Cole Powelson in the Life Motorsport GTR after the second session, I reckon.
It's still cold out there. We just came back from a little pit walk, and it's still relatively pretty cold out there. It's about 60 degrees, 55 degrees ambient temp out here, and it's a good temperature for throwing down some fast lap times. It's going to be the Cody Gonzalez up there in that S2000. Beautiful yellow S2000. Shout out to the Twitch guys, everyone on Twitch. Thank you so much for everyone on Twitch for following on the live stream, listening to the live stream, enjoying this great time attack action. And also GTA YouTube. If you got your phone on, you got your iPad on, turn on that live stream. We're out there. Just get the link off the GTA website, the Superlap website. Just amazing the amount of coverage off Twitch. You can't be happier to see that, hear that. Over 8,000 follow us on Twitch right now, watching live from COTA. And here we go. Group 4.
With the second session of the weekend.
And this group is very, very factory-based, everyday street cars. That beautiful Spoon Sports TSX, very, very minimalist. But then you see this Type R, this Civic Type R, this FK8, a lot more aero development on that car. And you see this newer Subaru STI, but stock aero on that car. But that's what you're going to see in this street enthusiast class or session here, is those street-based cars. But look at this beautiful aerial shot on the drone here.
The Paddock's starting to fill up. The car show lot's starting to fill up. It looks like a lot of excitement's happening down there. Lone Star Drift demos happening over there. As you can see, if you're out here in Austin, you could actually get in one of these cars and get a ride along.
Ooh, those guys are burning them up right there.
Some of these cars are actually four-door sedans, so if you got a family of 3, you could all 3 get in one of these cars and slide around with the driver.
Looks like a lot of understeer on that Corvette in the white right there. But just so much to do here, so much to see. Come on down to the paddock and come through the paddock. You can walk up right to the cars, walk right up to the drivers, and really get involved and get into the things you like. Whether you're a Honda guy, a Subaru guy, Nissan guy, anything, Super Toyotas, we got it all here. We got all the German makes.
You could even take your mom's car out here.
You can come out, with us to the track and drive mom's car around.
Hey mom, can I borrow your FK8? Sure, son.
Yeah, it looks like the Twitch guys are all going crazy right now. Yeah, we took everyone's mom out. But yeah, look at this S section here. Beautiful. Repave this past winter. And also I dare to say that's the livery of the track. That's what I like to say. Those graphics on the track right there just really makes this track more American than ever. The accents on the side of the track, but it's an amazingly beautiful track out here.
Here's Daniel Oliver in the SW20 MR2. Looks like he added a little bit of duct tape on that front splitter to keep it intact. He's going to start his flyer.
It's good to see they got that fixed up. So they can get a good hot lap, get a good solid time in. But if you missed us for that first session, those guys had a big splitter problem, and that thing was flapping all over the place. That back straight action right here. Yeah, that's what we like to see. Some of them more of that Spoon Sports TSX, or if you're from the other end of the pond, Accord Euro R.
Duct tape does fix everything.
Beautiful to the T livery on that thing with the Advan logos, the Spoon Sport livery, very iconic. So hopefully we can start getting some times out. Looks like he's getting still Honda battle right there on the front straight, the front S is right there. And Jeffrey in that Civic Type R looks like. Oh.
Drew Turner with a 226 in an A90 Supra. Gregory Formosa with a 233 184.
Kind of curious.
And it's Mitsubishi Evo MR.
Nicholas Bride in that Sprint Sports Accord Euro R looks like slowing down back there. Hopefully his car's not hurt.
Rich Enriquez with a 235 139 in his Toyota Supra.
Jeremiah. Is that Jeremiah?
Jeremiah with the 244. And looks like Robert Medina in his EG with a 242 370.
Looks like Jeremiah Walters in that Honda S2000 getting turned on right there. And I hope we got some local hardware stores or Home Depots around, because it looks like the MR2 guy's going to need a little bit more duct tape on that front end.
Coming down that front straight, the MR2 is putting down quite a bit of downforce, and that splitter's got a little rattle in it, we see.
So he might be holding up the pack there, or at least the Volkswagen GTI.
He just let Brandon in the GTI pass.
An FK8. Is that Jeffrey? Yeah, Jeffrey Ting up there in the FK8
with a 239 130.
Still looking good for enthusiast. Very, very well, good looking car too. Yeah, it looks like he let him pass. The GTI got through. Looks like I have a little bit of trouble in that MR2. Kind of pulling off the offline a little bit, letting everybody go by. See if they can figure it out. What could be going on with that car? Is Donald Brown into the pits? Very, very good looking enthusiast car, and that's what we like to see out of a enthusiast car. Very minimalistic, but you're still learning the chassis and learning everything out there. Looks like they're pulling in. Still Brandon up there. Brandon Lucy. Let's see if he's trying a good time. Yeah, they're still trying to find out in the GTI, or that Golf, I'm sorry. Still trying to find a good time out there.
Gregory Formosa in the R1 Concepts Mitsubishi Evo. He's got that crazy colorful livery on it.
Yeah, that livery looks amazing. Very what's the word we're looking for here? But very colorful, very anime-esque, if that's a word.
He's pushing it out there right now, just trying to get some time off the clock. There's Robert Medina all the way from Mexico in his Honda Civic EG hatchback.
Wow, that car's a huge wing on the back.
We've watched Robert progress the last, 5-6 years. Robert actually comes from Mexico and he goes to almost all of the Global Time Attack events. I think we one time he towed his car from the border all the way to Jersey for Global Time Attack.
Jeremiah Waters coming through at a 241. Still looking good for a
That's Austin Sierra in his Subaru Impreza WRX with over fenders.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
It's a bit of a drama here. Bit of a drama there. Looks like those guys had some engine trouble or drivetrain trouble. So it looks like Drew Turner up in the top. Still top of the timesheets in his Toyota Supra. Nicholas Bright, looks like those guys are having a little bit of trouble today. Hopefully it's just something minor. Hopefully not nothing they can't fix quick, fast, and in a hurry. Get out there and get a good time going. Yeah, here's it. Evo 10 coming through turn 1. And you get a good shot of that livery. Oh, man. That's very risky. Very awesome looking livery.
Again, that's Gregory Famosa. He's trying to find time. And we got...
He's up there sitting in third, looks like, at a 233.
And that's Bob Boileau of Pikes Peak International Raceway in the Mazda Miata. Robert Medina, again, coming down that front straight. Looks like he's followed by Drew Turner.
Oh yeah, that looks like that's your P1 so far. Drew Turner up top. Oh, looks like we have
there's fire coming out of the side of Robert Medina's car. Oh no,
catastrophic fire here on the front straight, turn 1.
Front straight.
Oh.
Looks like he's hit the fire suppression.
Yeah, that's not where you want to be when you pull off, and at the end of the front straight. But hopefully that's a little bit of a small fire, and they can get that contained. The safety guys, or safety crew here is
top notch.
Big plumes of smoke coming out of that. But looks like maybe, hopefully, an oil fire. Looks like some oil got hot and got on something hot and lit up a little bit. Here comes the safety crew over the top of the straight, but still green flag so far. I'm sure we'll get a yellow right here as a waving yellow, noting caution at that corner. Hopefully this doesn't mess up too much. You can see some fluid coming down off his car, but hopefully that's a little small. We can get that. Those guys can get that fixed. But oh, here we go. Hopefully it's not still going. It looks like you could see some fluid coming out, maybe some coolant. Maybe he popped a head right there, and that steam you saw was the cooling system or coolant coming out of that engine. Yeah, it looks to be a cooling system issue. Possibly those guys turned it up too soon, or they just had an engine failure. But that's Bad to see we get a standing yellow here. So these guys are going to kind of dial it down for safety reasons in that particular corner. But shout out to the corner marshals here. Those guys are the very heart of racing in general, as well as time attack, and they do most of those corner marshals or corner workers. They're doing it for free. They're out there on their weekends and stuff because they love racing and love the sport. So shout out to all the corner workers, all the safety crew guys. They're the unsung heroes of racing, I like to say, because they're the ones that really keep you safe. They let you know where the incidents are on track. They let you know where competitors are and everything. So here we got a checkers probably end the session here for Group 4. We've got a standing yellow.
And before Group 3 comes in, they're going to pull Robert Medina's car back in. Hopefully it's something small that's fixable so he could continue to compete over the weekend. Robert comes all the way from Mexico to compete here at Super Lap Battle.
Yeah, it looks to be a K20 in there.
Yep, it's a K20 turbo.
But awesome looking car. I mean, if you've been around time attack or Japanese tuning for a while, or seen time attack cars, EG, Honda Civic EG chassis, been around forever. Awesome race car, super lightweight. You can do almost anything to it. It's been around forever, and I mean, if you're like us, you grew up with the front-wheel drive Hondas, street racing in Southern California, and that's what all the guys had. We all had Honda Civics, and yeah, we all have moved on to different things, but we still appreciate a nice tuned Honda, and especially a Honda Civic front-wheel drive. We were just down there in the pit. We went down to the paddock, and we're talking to Will A. Young about his Civic, and this is probably the next generation or the newer generation of Honda Civic development as far as time attack cars go. But just how you would, when these cars first came out and guys were time attacking with them, you never would see these guys at the top of the time sheets of front wheel drive, and now you see Will right up there.
But also holding records at a lot of tracks in the United States.
Looks like they got this all buttoned up. The fire contained. Looks to be probably a cylinder head problem that may have gone awry. And hopefully they brought their spare engine here this weekend. Get out there. Looks like that team a lot of sleepless nights, so they'll be burning the midnight oil and hopefully get that thing changed out. Hopefully it's just a cylinder head gasket and they can just pop that cylinder head off and pop on a new one. Looks like you're still trying to ID the problem here. Wow. Looks like they got it. But we're going to even tow it out, see if we can get a flatbed in there so we can get ready for Group 3. Here we go. As we speak.
The safety crew at Circuit of the Americas, they do an amazing job of managing the course and managing the cars that have failures on the track. They do a great job getting the cars in and out so that we can continue with the sessions and not lose much time.
Wow, what a great shot. If the drone coverage here we have this weekend is just amazing. You can see how clear that picture is, and we're just bringing everything to you as best as we can. But I was really happy to see. I mean, it's like we're even there. It's like you're standing right above them. How clear and how sharp the picture is. Shout out to the media crew right here in the next room. Those guys are doing an amazing job. They love what they do, and they're amazing at it. But some of the best guys out here that I've ever worked with. Looks like Twitch is still going pretty good over here. We got our iPad taking a look at it here, and Looks like keep the comments coming. Let us know what you guys think of this. What's going on here? Did they pop ahead? Is there a turbo issue here? Turbo issue here. Can these guys get? We'll check back in with them when we roll through the grid again and see if they can't get that fixed. A lot of time here. We got one more session left today, and also the rest of tomorrow to go, and for them to get an amazing time out there. We got a good solid banker time. But yeah, the safety crew doing their hard work out here.
So there's a question on Twitch that's asking, when does the street class run? The way we run the sessions is based off of time index. So we don't run it specifically based on a class. We run it based on how fast these guys are going, and we grid them based on their time. That way we maintain the traffic correctly on the course so that these guys have the opportunity to put down a fast lap. If you're wondering who's when somebody running or like a specific driver, I could let you know when they're going to run. But right now the street class is the battle between street class right now is between Jackie Ding and Amir and Thomas Smith. And Jackie Ding and Amir are like literally a few tenths off of each other, Amir being faster after the first session. We expect Jackie to go faster, a lot faster, because the weekend is barely just beginning.
Yeah, we just walked through the grid and saw Amir and Thomas Smith. Thomas Smith really up there on a third place at a 219, right behind those two cars, and it's really great to see him up there. Amir just barely edging out Jackie Ding by 3/10, but they were having a little bit of an axle issue, some grease coming out of there, but I'm sure those guys will get that fixed up and get out here for another couple hot laps.
So this is the end of Group 4, Session 2. Session 3 will be coming up. Some Twitch viewers are asking when Hannah's running. Hannah will be out there in Group 2, so not the next session, but the session after, or the group after.
So you can also tell it just got taken down, but the class that the car is running next to their time, you'll see a different color denoting their specific class, and when they're all so they're intermixed. Some limited cars are intermixed in here with street class, enthusiast, and limited cars, but they're all going off a time index. So probably after this session or this round of sessions, we'll change it up a little bit. We'll get those faster guys up to the higher groups and the kind of middle guys, and we'll kind of intermix them, so we'll have a better idea as far as speed index goes after lunch here.
There is a live timesheet if you go on your phone, your iPad, and download the app called Race Hero. It's free, and then you could connect to a Super Lap Battle on Race Hero and get the live times from there.
So you can get them as soon as they happen, as we see them, as the track sees them, so you can keep up to date on that.
Again, shout out to all the people on Twitch. Thanks for watching.
Keep that fire coming, guys.
We're doing our best to bring this live content to you guys.
Well, you could see, I don't know if you guys can see, we could see it in here on our feed, but the timing is actually, they'll display a time when it happens on the leaderboard here. And again, if you guys go on Race Hero and download the Race Hero app and look up the event, and you can get live timing and scoring there.
Yo, what's up, Corey?
Hey, Corey. We're out here missing you, bro.
You know, we went through all the garages looking for Corey Wells. Corey Wells campaigns a Honda Prelude.